Welcome to the SID's View podcast.
The urge to scream podcast in SpongeBob's voice, like I had to choke it back, but it was bubbling up.
I would have choked myself if I heard that voice.
That's what she said.
That was a reach.
Bonssa, you
That was a
can't
reach.
walk right into that,
That was
and
a
think
reach.
I'm not going to play that. Come on. Have you not seen the show?
Sadly, I have. Gosh dang. I have to be careful with what I say.
Yes, indeed.
Sid has realized
true.
the full potential of his toys now, and it's...
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
You have multiple
You're gonna make
soundboard clips?
when someone like you comes in, I got to be prepared. That's twice. We've only been mics up for like 45 seconds.
Yeah, the cameras haven't even been on yet.
Wait, there's an XP system now in the YouTube chat. I see like #1 fan and all that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Top fans.
Listen.
CT Racing Corey, you got 75 XP. Good job, buddy.
What is this, Fortnite?
I don't know what that means, really. I don't know what you can really get with XP on YouTube.
I've gained experience in the YouTube chat.
I
Yeah.
don't know really what
Sid
you can do
doesn't
with
know
that.
what XP is. That's way after his time.
that's correct.
even Ray to a certain extent.
Oh, speaking of XP and video games, did you see EA Sports is making a college basketball game?
They are?
I would be excited if it wasn't EA.
That is
good
true.
take. Good
That is true.
take.
True.
What a guy.
That is true.
Hey, we
Good
can't
take.
talk about this stuff. Sid has no idea.
No, I know
we're
what EA
conversing.
Sports is. Shut up.
Yeah, he remembers playing Madden 92.
Yeah. Actually, I go back to Tecmo Ball.
Oh my gosh.
What was that on N64, SNES?
That was on Nintendo and then Super Nintendo.
If we're going to talk video
jeez.
games with Sid, we got to
It's
talk
so-
about Pong.
It's
all
so
right?
it's
I
so
did have
sad
that.
to see.
When I was really
It's
young.
so sad to see sports games in the place that they're at right now.
Hopefully the new NASCAR game is good when that
Hopefully.
comes out.
Dude, just delay another year if you have to. Just make it good. I don't even care how
I
long
hear
it
the
takes.
new World of Outlaws game is pretty good.
Oh,
and it's on
really?
PC too, so I got to get it.
Oh.
Steam
Take
sale.
it
I've been
on
playing
the-
the new
put it on
the
the rig.
F1 game. No,
Is it good?
It's all right. I mean,
it?
it doesn't. It's feel the same as the last one.
Well, that's how video games are. It's just recycled from the year before. They're giant updated rosters.
Exactly.
Basically.
I always say especially like NBA 2K, they should make a base game, and then every year put out like a deal.
No.
like
No, but then they can't charge
They
full
can't,
price,
yeah,
Jack.
they can't do that.
You got to
Yeah.
pay
Exactly. They gotta
make money.
$69.99.
and then if you're NBA 2K, you got to pay another $50 to get your player to a playable level.
Got to get that VC.
Well, I'm not
Exactly.
that stupid. It's you idiots that fall for that and make them do it more.
Buy $40 for custom decal jersey.
Facts.
There you go.
They'll do a $100 DLC because y'all will spend the money.
Y'all.
Yeah.
They're never
Listen,
topping NR
He's from the
2003, though.
yeah.
They never will.
Yeah, see, Dade Riley knows what's up. He's saying Atari Pong was awesome. He knows.
Oh, my God. The
I
Pong
didn't say
fans are
it
coming
wasn't
out.
awesome. I'm just saying you're old.
Also correct. Yeah.
Man, did you guys see that square fly across the screen?
Shut up.
He's
Phil.
used to games having half a pixel.
It was more than half.
That was at least one full pixel.
Here we go.
Well, let's start the insanity.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Man Cave for the next edition of the SID's View podcast. Another beautiful Tuesday evening. Lots to go over. A lot of new faces in the studio tonight. Our man Bonssa filling in for Diego. What's up, brother?
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot less annoying now that I'm here, but I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I said that.
that. Right
Get
off
back
the rip.
on me with that, Diego. But 5 days of racing the last week for me, we got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. Our girl Rem's over here on the controls, ready to roll.
Am I going to be the one doing
I
this?
was going to have Steven Kopsick do it. You got a flat tire on the way here, so he's out.
Yo, yo, yo. It's a beautiful Tuesday. I'm here with my boys. Let's do it.
Down in the bullpen, he showed up as Johnny Argyle, and then he went and did a wardrobe change. Unbelievable.
What up, everybody? Your man Rob back in the house. Gothic is out and Jaws is in. I think it's a great fashion line, but some would say my taste is jump the shark.
Oh, that's a nice
Oh,
one
my
there.
God.
And then we got our man Jack over there at the news desk. What's up, brother?
How we doing? Like Bonza said, we got 5 days of racing to run through. You'll see me in a bit.
All
Back
right,
to you, Sid.
sounds good. Don't forget now, if you want to join the party, you got to go to that youtube.com/SidsView/join. Get in that live chat. Lots of fun down there. You also get bonus content every Thursday, and we have had a good time creating that content. with our in-studio guest, RC3 Ray Christian's in the house. What's up, brother?
Same old same, man. Appreciate you.
Die-hard Chicago Bears fan. We got a Bears fan. We got a Redskins fan. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just
Commanders.
The Commanders.
Get with the
Commanders.
times.
Yes, sorry, my bad. My
It's
bad.
okay.
like we said before we turned the cameras on, I am old, so yeah, my bad. All right, let's get things started with our friends.
The Colts were still in Baltimore by then.
I do remember that, Bonssa. Would you just shut up over there? All right, let's get our friends over there at Monaco Ford up and running here with the results ticker top 5 finishers from all the events throughout Southern New England. A couple things I want to go over here as we get started. I just want to give a quick reminder that we got the event at the Barnyard Raceway coming up on Sunday. Great event. There's going to have a ton of cool things there. My man Ed Marceau does it up nice. The racetrack will be open. All race cars are welcome, from what I hear. And I don't know if you'll see me behind the wheel of one, but nonetheless, we had a blast there last time. I'm going to take my man Brooksy and my Aunt Mary with me this year. We're going to have a good time. Yeah. Ed does it up with a lot of nice food. There's a ton of vintage cars there. Just a lot of fun. So if you can make it there, please do. And apparently there's going to be some raffling going on. And one of the things that they're raffling, Rob, check it out here. Joey Logano signed helmet.
I'll have to add it to my signed Daytona 500 sheet metal.
Listen, you grease my palms with how many tickets you want me to buy for you while you are away, and I'll see what I can do for you, all right?
All righty.
So, anyways, hope to see a bunch of you down there. It's a good time. Bonssa, you made as you like to say, you unlocked a new track.
Yes.
Huh? Tell us about your trip over there at Lime Rock.
It's a gorgeous track. It's I say Thunder Road's a track where you wouldn't expect the track to be there.
Yeah.
Lime Rock is the same exact way. You would not expect a 1.5 mile long road course to be there. It's beautiful. It's just greenery everywhere.
Yeah.
And they said come when it's fall because the
the
leaves change
foliage?
colors.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's really nice. The facility's really nice. Like the track itself is really cool. The layout is cool. There's a bridge you can walk over the track from. There's a lot of good seats where you can see like half the track, which is pretty hard to do on a road course.
Yeah, right.
The crowd was phenomenal. Like they showed out. It was a packed house.
I heard
there.
it was like their best in modern history or something. I don't know the exact number.
Well,
but
yeah, they said that, right. They didn't say a number, but they said they broke attendance records.
It was an early crowd too. Like I was there probably around 9 a.m., but the crowd was already packed by then. They were there at 7 in the morning.
So my man Fran sent us a couple photos here. So
you weren't lying. Holy.
yeah.
Like if
Beauty.
they question coming back to Lime Rock next year, that answers your question.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It was really cool.
Hold on, I got one more here for you. Let me get this up here. Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at the crowd.
Yeah.
So is it true that there's not really any grandstands there? That it's just
It's a lot of hills.
yeah,
It's a lot of hills, which I like a lot. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
love about Thunder Road. Is that you
Exactly.
can sit up
You
on
sit
the
on the hill.
hills.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a very laid back feeling. I did learn though, the trucks are really loud. I had to wear earplugs. Like,
Did you?
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not expect them to be that loud, even from a distance, but they're super loud. It was also kind of like a Stafford homecoming. There was a lot of Stafford people
Was
there.
it really?
Oh, I wish
yeah.
I went.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ran to
Jeez.
so many Stafford. The Monahans were there.
Oh, that's
They're not
right.
Stafford people, but
Yeah.
like they were there. I saw Tom Fern there with Sue. I saw PJ Evans, fresh off a win that we're going to talk about
Right.
later
Yep.
on. There was a lot of people down there at the track. Dustin Gagney, who races at Waterford, he was there. A lot of spotters
Yep.
that you see on Friday nights. They were there. I think Dylan Kopech spotted for Corey Heim, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I saw this. He posted
And Corey
about that.
Heim ended up winning the race.
Wow.
So,
By a
yeah,
mile.
That's pretty cool.
Lucas Leone was spotting. Buzz, Anthony Buzella was spotting as well. So there's a lot of local connections in Connecticut. Of course, Mike Joy was there too.
I saw that he did he was the honorary starter, right?
Yeah.
And he did the Grand Marshal, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool then, because they clearly they brought a lot of circle track people to that
Yeah.
event.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
definitely the
100%.
goal.
It was
Yeah.
a really good mix. The first people I saw when I parked, funny story. So I'm trying to figure out where to park, and I get honked at. I look over, I'm like, who the hell is that? And they're flipping me off. I'm like, I don't know what I did wrong. I just waved, and I look closer. It's Glenn Corner and Joey Farino. The
Of course
first
they
people
would,
I run
too.
into.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I park next to them, and then who comes up behind us to park next to us? Mike Christopher Jr.
Oh wow.
Just in the first 2 minutes, I
Right.
ran to like 5 Stafford people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was the theme for the whole day. It was a really cool event. The truck race was fun. The ARCA race was really exciting too. So I had a blast all day long.
Nice. All right, before we kick it over to Jack, let's just show, go over to Rob's camera there, just so everybody knows. They want to know where Diego is. Diego is fulfilling a pinky promise. And
I see. That's, you know,
you like
the
that artwork
artistic,
right there?
yeah,
Yes.
it's
And so
questionable.
listen,
promise.
listen, that means Diego is, you know, he's a really good father, and he made JJ a pinky promise, and he said, "Listen, I can't break it." I said, "Dude, I understand." Yeah.
There's-
Ray
Good
knows
man.
he's a dad.
Good
There's
man.
certain things that you just cannot miss.
Especially
right?
with JJ.
Yeah.
She
Listen,
will make sure that you did wrong.
She's a busy young lady. So Diego will be back next week. We're happy to have Bonssa here joining us. So let's get going because we got a lot to go over. Our man Jack's fired up, ready to go. Let's get after it.
All right, want to give a big thanks to Belltown Motors for the weekly update this week.
Jack, I'm just going to thank him doubly because I forgot to change the graphic. It still said Fowler's. But listen,
Nice.
the Flannerys, no matter which one it is, they're all awesome people. Go ahead.
Exactly. More of the story, great people in the world. Here we go. So on Wednesday at Seekonk in the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series, Matt Hirschman remained strong. He won the Midweek Madness 125. John McKennedy and George Bissett Jr. were the top three.
So there was a lot of drama there. For starters, I got this little clip from when we were over there. So there was some to-dos going on there in the heat race. And this is
yeah.
this is how Brett Meservey came out of the heat
Yeah,
race.
one of the most interesting metal shears I've ever seen. It looked like a flower on the back. Yeah, there you go. That's a good shot of it.
I cannot believe they got back
I
out
can't
there.
either.
So him and Kopsik, they both had issues in the heat races and were able to get it back. So good job by them. What are you doing? What?
You turn it off.
I turned it off?
Yeah, you
That's
have to
what you're
turn
saying?
it off.
And what sucked was that was the very start of the heat race.
You mean like that?
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but it was the very start of
Yeah.
the heat race. I was on my way to Seekonk listening on Track Tune, and they were just like strolling around like, what happened? And then I got my answer, but he got back out there. Kopsik's car wasn't as bad, but Meservy's was really bad. And
Yeah.
not only did he get
Demolished.
back out there, I think he finished all the laps, if
Yeah.
not most of them.
Yeah.
So I got to give him a lot of credit for somehow getting that car put back together
Yeah,
enough.
I thought it was funny that Remy was filming a video, which clearly was supposed to be like heats are starting, and then there was a huge wreck as they crossed
Yeah.
the line. I was like, sometimes you get lucky with it.
Those
Right.
are the best videos, the ones
Yeah,
where
oh,
you
yeah.
get lucky.
Yeah.
It got a ton of views, yeah. So we were trying to figure out, so unfortunately they wouldn't let us fly drones at Seekonk, so we were trying to come up with new interesting camera angles. And I was having problems with the front bumper cams that I use. For some reason, probably because I bought them cheap and used, that whenever I used the ones I just bought, the files just corrupt the software. When I dump it into Premiere Pro, it doesn't.
Really?
It just freezes everything up. So anyways, we're trying to take, the old Session, the little square GoPros.
Yes.
Right? And so we were talking with Glenn Jensen, and he let us put one with a roll bar mount on the
Left front?
the left front control arm, and we put it right there. We tried it out, I think, in the heat or practice, and the footage looked good. I thought it was going to be like too tilted, but because of the banking of the track, it evened it out. And so so we put that on there. I was super excited that they, not every team is going to let you put a camera there, and but unfortunately, Austin did not have a good start to the race. So Remy's got the clip here. So this is not only the wreck, but multiple angles, including the one from that camera. So go ahead, Remy.
This afternoon, but that has suddenly all changed. Oh, trouble now.
Man, I didn't realize he got that high up in the air.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that second hit hurts too.
Yeah,
Yep.
jeez.
Sliding down into turn number 3.
Once you crumple it, there's really nothing left to absorb the impact.
Right.
Together.
Yeah, so we got a few angles of this.
Oh, the backstretch cam
The
paid
backstretch
off.
cam came in clutch.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Jeez.
Yep.
This is early on too, right?
It's like
Yeah.
lap
Very
5.
early.
Yeah.
Less than 10 laps, yep.
I don't know how Chris missed this one.
Seriously, and he had a top 5 finish, so this was,
Wow.
right? That was near disaster.
Couple inches, maybe.
McKennedy also had a top 5 finish. This is a pretty wild
Yeah,
shot
my man,
from Teddy's.
Teddy, he got a little bent up.
Yeah, that took him out.
Yep.
Roof was all messed up.
There was a hole in the roof.
They tried to get back after it.
They
So this
did.
is from Austin's roof.
Oh, yeah, that second hit was rough.
Yeah. And so this is from the one that was on the control arm. You can actually see the tire
What a
there.
crazy shot, too.
Right?
I love the angle.
You can see the tire there in the bottom left corner.
The fact that the camera survived
It's
and kept
barely
going is
survived.
nuts.
So, of course, as soon as I see Austin drops the net, I know he's all right. I'm over the radio going, did the camera survive? Can anybody see it? And they wouldn't, where we had that backstretch cam, they wouldn't let us be there. We could put a camera there, but it had to be
You had to leave
unmanned.
it, yeah.
And so I forget at what point we realized that it was on there, but glad that Austin's okay and got some killer footage out of it.
Yeah.
So I was working the pits, and I asked Parker Burnt, Eric's son,
Yep.
how the car was, and Parker just kept saying Eric felt horrible for that wreck. Because anyone who watches Eric knows he's a very clean racer.
not,
So that was just a rare mistake on his part, but apparently he was like super regretful about that wreck.
Yeah. You could tell he was fighting his car the whole day. It
Yeah,
seemed like.
he was.
Ray, you've raced at Seekonk?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like that track?
Hated it before they paved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. A lot different now.
1,000
Yeah.
times different. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went with I went with Jay Glaud
Yep.
last year, and night and day. I mean,
Right.
we were awesome the whole day. Got a flat early and had to come back through. Ended up like 11th, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast. I mean, you can roll the top there now. It was side by side the whole time. It was
You can roll
Seriously.
any lane.
We show
Very
a clip
racy.
almost
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
week. And
Yeah.
we got more this week because it really has enhanced the racing down there.
right
for
because
sure.
before the pave, it was just a kill fest for the bottom.
Right.
It was
Right.
just it was a different breed of racing. You know.
Right.
And nobody can stop Hirschman there.
Yeah,
It's
so-
insane.
There.
I'm glad you,
Yeah, true. In a lot of places, but especially Seekonk.
there. But Steven Kopsick was getting after it.
He was.
And that was Steven got right up on him on the outside, and then the caution came out, and it looks like we were going to have a crazy duel.
Oh, yeah.
And then this happened.
Jacob Perry's had a fast car.
That's Kopsick up on the outside there.
And get a good finish tonight.
You can tell his left rear is shot.
It's got
Heading
problems.
back to the pits. And a flat left rear tire on the one of Steven Kopchick, it appears. If it wasn't for
Yeah, I
bad
mean,
luck,
it was such a great race, and after that, I
we'd
still
have
felt
no
kind of
luck at
robbed.
all.
Right.
Steven
That would have been
Kopchick,
absolutely,
car
because he was so
number one.
fast.
Well, you know, the thing with Kopsick was his right rear tire was 40 laps newer than Hirschman's.
Yeah.
So he could hang with the 60, even
Yeah.
though Hirschman was on older tires, and we know how good Hirschman is
Yeah.
at saving tires.
Right.
Just never got a chance.
Because
to see it.
he pitted, and then he went back into the pits under, I think, the same caution. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's got issues. Like, I don't know what's
No,
going on. But
they
then
were
he just drove right back through.
They were fine tuning the car
Right.
to accommodate for the new tire,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it paid off because he was passing a lot of
Yeah.
cars.
You wonder if that last caution didn't come out and he was just under green on the outside if he would have got by.
But was the flat from contact with Hirschman? Did they bang bars
Yeah,
and
I
they
don't
cut
know.
the tire?
I don't know.
I will say though,
I
but
feel like they were under caution for several laps before that clip we just saw. So I feel like if it stayed green,
maybe, yeah,
know?
it wouldn't have gone down.
how'd you like pit reporting?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a little more fast paced. It's a little more difficult, being that the pits are behind the
Seekonk's-
track and not
yeah,
in
it's
the
tough.
infield.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of fun though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You try to talk to team members during the run. I have a scanner. It's hard to stay on top of everything,
Right.
but I really enjoyed it a lot. And
Yeah.
so it was a
did good
different
at it.
beast. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
a different beast compared to being in the booth.
Yeah.
So, but they're
Right.
both fun in their own ways. I enjoyed it a lot.
I really like doing the Monaco races because they're different than Sid's View because it's not my commentary, and I love using whether it's Ben or you, and sometimes
Right.
it's Bearball, whoever's doing the pit reporting, and it's really it's a little bit of a different edit, and because of what you guys are saying, there was a lot of the whole reason that they made that race 125 laps was to hopefully enhance the pit
Strategy.
strategies and whatnot, and so. Having you back there covering it and working that into the edit to help tell the storylines was really essential,
Yeah.
And that strategy did work to a degree because only 2 cars didn't pit.
Yeah.
And
Which were the two cars that finished first and second.
But a lot of people pitted on like that lap 95, 96 caution. That would have never happened last year being a 100-lap race.
Right.
So I think it did change things up. And it gave us a hella good charge by Bassett because he fell back to like 12th, I think, because he lost some spots on pit road. And he got back up to third. I was very impressed with how he's able to charge back.
He was so fired up in his post-race interview. He was like
that's
shaking
what happens when he drinks too much sugar.
Yeah. He had the prime. He told me it was the prime.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to Cipriano too, because
great run.
He had a great run,
Yeah.
and he was holding off several guys over the course of that race, and was able to get out of there with a top 5 finish.
And he started, I think, 20th.
Yeah,
he had to make his way through the field.
Yeah, they had a good
do
day.
that.
But overall, I definitely think that extending it made a difference. Like, yes, it did obviously end up, like we just said, the two guys that didn't pit finished 1-2, but it's not like Kopchak didn't give him a run for the money. I mean, it didn't pan out for them, but it very well could have.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good move.
Yeah, I think I agree. Right. The result was the same, but it was much more compelling throughout the course of the race. Yeah, even though Hirschman won again, which is, Anyways.
Anyway.
All right, what else you got?
All right, so in the we also had the ACT race going on at Seekonk. So Derek Luchacki got his 10th career ACT win in the Spring Green 125. That makes Derek the first Massachusetts native driver to win an ACT race at Seekonk.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that weird? I know.
I never would have thought.
I think I saw that in their press release, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty funky stat. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so Wednesday, the Waterford was supposed to run Wild and Wacky Wednesday, but they canceled due to the heat. So we're going to move on to Friday at Stafford. So in the SK mods, Mikey Christopher Jr. won his 3rd straight feature.
This dude.
Guy's on rails, man.
I saw him at Lime Rock.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? And he had the biggest, cheesiest grin on his face. He's having the time of his life. Like the last couple years, I mean, he's just on cloud 9, it seems like, because they got everything going good. They just got to keep it that way for the rest of the season, which is really hard.
You know what I loved on Friday was Mike's dad. Like just seeing him celebrate and then being that happy for his son. It was cool to see.
He presents
all that,
nonchalantly too. That's my favorite thing about Mikey. He's got the shades on half the time. He's just like, I don't know. I mean, he just looks like one of the chillest guys there.
Right.
But he's running it up every week.
He started 12th.
I know.
So he had to and he got up to the lead by like halfway. 12th to first in 20 laps in the SKs?
Yeah.
That's insane.
With everyone on the same tires too. That's no joke to pull off.
They're on a tear right now.
Yep.
So shout out to Rem's got the clip here of him and Tyler Chapman, who also did pretty good in the Monaco race in Les Hinkle's car.
Yep.
But Mikey eventually got him, but they ran side by side here for a couple laps. There's some good racing. So throw this one up there, Rem. Clicking too many buttons. You got it.
I don't know what that was.
Jr. just set the fastest lap of the race last time while battling for the race lead.
I think that 41's going to win a race this year.
Yeah, it's coming.
I think it's almost much greater than 50% chance.
He's been very impressive.
Yeah. Even Steven, I think, will take one down this year.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Well, when they're not in the infield, they're both running top 10.
Right.
But I mean, even right here, as good as Mikey's been,
Tyler's holding him off on the
you
outside.
think like, all right, Mikey's just gonna go
Right,
right by
it's not
him
even- right.
once they go around the corner, and he stayed with him, man.
No, Tyler's been really fast. It's just the tough thing with them is half the time they've been in the infield getting caught up in messes.
Yeah.
Both
The week
of them.
before was brutal for him and his brother. Yeah.
Literally, it's been both cars out. Both cars top 10. Both cars out this season.
Both cars top 5.
It's not an exaggeration.
Right.
It's definitely roller coaster.
Yeah.
And they went, 3-4 on Friday? Third,
I
fourth?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Marcello's getting faster too, though.
Yeah.
Finished second in
For
that
sure.
race.
For sure.
Yeah.
So in the late models, Kevin Gambacorda returned to victory lane. In the SK Lights, Dean Lambros became the 700th different feature winner in the history of the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Who would have predicted that?
I know. And we got 701 the same day.
Let's be real. Spoiler alert. But
sorry.
let's be real.
I spoiled it, guys. I'm sorry.
There was a lot of debate on Facebook because I think it was posted, like who's going to get the 700th win. There was Jason Raymond, drivers who've been around for at least a couple seasons. Dean has not done a lot of races at Stafford.
No.
He's done the races this year, maybe 2 or 3 before that, maybe 4 or 5.
Right.
So he doesn't have more than 20 starts at Stafford, and he did a really good job.
He was arguing this, like, in my opinion, so far this year, he's been like the number one sleeper, dark horse, whatever you want to call it. I mean, him and Joey Farino have an amazing thing going on with those two cars. From the get-go.
Seeing Joey excited was awesome.
Yes, that was cool. Such
a
great post right
he was,
there.
And
so
he will
awesome.
not let it go. Winning car owner, Joey Farino. We kept saying that at Lime Rock to no end. But no, I was very happy for Dean. I mean, he's been racing for multiple years elsewhere in sports cars and whatnot. So he's had racing experience, and he's learned very quick how to get around Stafford.
Yeah. Now, he was also part of the Skip Barber thing, right? It wasn't
I
just
believe
Will?
so. I think it was both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was a good run. Shout out to the ladies, 3 in the top 6.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Megan finished 6th with no power steering.
I know. I saw that on the highlights, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, no power steering for the second half of the race.
That's a miserable
that's wild.
second half, right?
Yeah, I mean, Amanda Megan's second, third in points now. I mean, they got a long way to go to Hovey, but they're putting together a fantastic year.
Yeah, Hovey was a little bit off on Friday.
I thought the 67 was as fast, if not faster. Like, it truly was not the unbeatable speed that they've had.
I think Megan had pace, too, if it wasn't for the power steering issues.
Yeah.
So in the limited late models, Devin Jensick got his first win on the year. And then in the street stocks, PJ Evans picked up his first career Stafford win, winning the Mid-State Site Development Firecracker 30.
That's cool.
That's my guy, PJ, man.
Yeah.
He's, PJ was almost Mason Silva before Mason Silva. Like, PJ used to come up to the stands and sit with me for a couple of races here and then when his dad was still racing and just come up there and throw out some hi-yahs and whatnot. And it's just great to see him as he's gotten older. He's also a really good baseball player. Matter of fact, several of his baseball coaches are friends with mine, so I filmed the TV with my phone and sent it to his coaches.
Oh, really?
I said, PJ's just winning races at the top short track in the country now, and so I was super happy for him. And talk about those emotional moments when he just got out of the car and just like sat there and kind of took it all in. And
I
looked
thought
at the
he was
crowd.
going to cry.
Yeah, that was a good moment. Yeah,
And that was like I don't think he ever raced at Stafford in a street stock until this year.
No, it was like his 5th or 6th
Yeah.
start.
yeah,
Yep.
And he held off the champ.
right.
Like, that's really impressive. I know
Right.
the kid can drive, but to win that quickly at Stafford in the street stocks against the Downies and the Trots
Right.
and the
in their biggest
Willettes,
race, no less.
in the biggest race of the year, like, I'm so happy for those guys. I mean,
Right.
Phil was over the moon
Yeah.
when he won.
So I was curious if you thought that 700 number, is that a big number, you think?
I think it's just a cool milestone.
Yeah.
700th
Yeah.
winner.
It's definitely a cool milestone, but it made me go look at the Speedbowls. They have over 1,200.
What?
There's over 1,200. Now, it's different because the Speedbowl obviously has a lot more divisions, especially in recent years.
Do the Wednesday winners count?
And the Wednesday winners count, whereas
Okay,
Stafford doesn't count the Monday winners, so it
Right.
is different. But yeah. Anyways, I just as a stat geek, I had to go.
Yeah,
look
which I think
that
is fair, though. I mean, the Monday guys aren't running on the same track, so to
No.
speak. The Wednesday guys are.
But back when the Wild Thing Carts had a Friday event, the winner of those nights counted in the.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
well, and
interesting.
the Legend cars count,
Yeah.
and they ran on that track.
Heck, Nicola Rose winning the Ladies Challenge counted.
Was that on the big track?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that still counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think if it's a Friday night, it counts.
Right.
So.
Anyways, yeah, I can go off on a whole.
Yeah,
tangent
don't
with
get
stats.
Sid started. Don't go
wind me up.
ballistic.
But no, good for PJ and those
Yeah,
guys.
for sure.
All right, so we're going to move on up to Seekonk Speedway on Friday night. So in the Pure Stocks, Brent Robideau goes back-to-back. In the Sport 4s, Samantha Sloboda won. In the Legend Cars, Jacob Burns. And in the Bando Outlaws, Jordan Duquette gets first career win. In the Bando Bandits, Landon Heim got his first win of his racing career as well.
Nice.
Shout out to Landon. Saturday at Seekonk, in the Pro Stocks, 8-time champion David Darling finished on the podium, or first place. In the late models, Chase Belcher got his first win on the year. In the sport trucks, Rick Martin got the win, which is his 115th career win at
Dude,
Seekonk.
That's
Wow.
ridiculous.
Damn.
In the sportsman, Doug Benoit got his first career sportsman win, and I think Remy has a video of that.
Yes, I do.
Hit it.
Across the stripe, 11 laps down, 29 left to go. as your leader goes into 3 and 4.
3 wide as Colby Lambert uses that inside groove.
What I love
underneath
about
Raymond and
this,
Sylvia.
it's
Jeremy
3
Lambert
wide,
following
and
through.
it's multiple
They come off
cars
a
3
4 now
wide
in
for
the
multiple
fourth
laps.
and fifth
It's just
I don't know how the
Josh
heck he got it
Gerard
like that for
as
so
they're
long.
Still 3 wide through the corners.
Gerard working the low line here. 3 wide down the backstretch. Josh Gerard jockeying
Just
for
so
that
much
position
fun.
into 3 and 4.
Gerard sliding in down low, taking those 2 spots away as they cross the stripe.
Who's on the
Raymond
top
able
of
to shut
3
the door
wide?
Before Flanagan can squeeze
that's
on
Pepe.
in.
Is that the
Off
the
two
116?
and into
Yep.
3
He's
and 4.
always
He loves it
outside
out there.
3 wide. He's always up there, and he makes it work.
I think if there wasn't 2 cars underneath him, he'd still be out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to that Pro Stock race was pretty good too. Dave Darling definitely lucked out that they had a caution late because Nick Lascola, I think, had that race locked up, and then you got to restart you got to battle with Dave Darling. That's a tough job.
One of the best.
But even he said that he thinks his car was definitely benefited over the long run. I don't know if he would have been able to get him, but the restart helped him. So that was a pretty good race too. Seekonk's, I mean, like we were just talking about, they got a good product on their track, man.
I was telling Kevin Boucher that when we were at
Yeah.
Seekonk for the Monaco mods, I said, y'all got something real good going these last couple of years. It's been quite entertaining to watch.
And just, solid car counts again. 15 Pro Stock, 17 late models, 20 Sportsman, 15 trucks.
And on that small of a track,
Yeah.
That's all you need.
plenty.
Right.
all you need.
That's plenty.
You put
Yep.
40 out there, it almost probably gets worse.
All right. What else you got there, Jack?
So Saturday at Waterford, in the SKs, Andrew Moeller made it 3 in a row.
Can't let that go unnoticed.
No.
I mean, I know he's been struggling at Stafford, but they figured something out at Waterford. And to win 3 in a row at a track that's hard to pass, knowing that he's probably starting mid-pack because of the handicap.
Yeah, for sure.
So listen, I think it's time on that tip why don't we have our weekly mid-state stat drop, shall we? So with this 3 straight at the bowl, the record in the SK Modifieds at the Speedbowl is 5 wins in a row, held by Dennis Gaeta and Keith Rocco jointly. Gaeta did it in 99. Keith Rocco did it in 2011. Bonssa and I were texting earlier today trying to figure out what Stafford's may be, and you said that you had what were the ones that you said you remember?
So I know Woody won 5 in a row in 2007, and then Keith won the last 2 of 2017 and the first 4 of 2018.
Yeah, I
so
remember
technically that's 6 straight features.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Teddy probably pulled off 5 in a row at one point
Right.
in the Mystique days, but
With that Keith streak, the first one was the one after Teddy passed, right?
yes, the first race after Teddy died. Yep.
Yeah. So, Rob, do put that on your homework assignment there, guys. See if you can find that out for us. Dig into those archives there.
I found the only one we really wrote about today was the Rocco one because we wanted to do most recent 3 in a row since for SKs.
Yeah.
And Keith Rock's last one was 4.
All right. Remy's trying to talk to me.
The video.
Oh.
What video?
The SK video.
Oh, yeah, right. All right, so our man Kenny Kurtla had sent us a video of Todd Owen, who had unfortunately had some more bad luck. But Kenny sent us, he had a camera on his car when Todd had this happen.
It's like lap 2 or 3, I think.
Early in the race, it was.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's
Big
rare to
impact.
see an 81 car tore up like that.
Yeah.
You don't see that
That was
very
always
often.
his thing, was
Really
not
is.
being torn up.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the mini stocks, Chris Garside picked up the win.
That was a really good race. I know you wanted to end up on the better end, Ray, but that battle between you and him was absolutely phenomenal.
Epic. It was great.
You just didn't quite have enough with your car, huh?
No, just a little too free on the bottom. Hats off to Chris. That was a great job. He actually texted me after the race. He said, if I would have taken the bottom on the restart, would you have got me? I said, probably, because I was free. And that just
Yeah.
would have helped it, And, in the moment, I even said, man, Chris, that was a good play. And that was great. He's one of my best friends. So to be able to duke it out with him for the last however many laps, 9, I think it was,
Yeah.
it was a blast. And, you can't ask for anything better.
And he kind of struggled this year up to that point, didn't he? Or like he hadn't really won a race up to that point.
I don't know if
think.
he'd say struggle, but he hasn't won yet. But yeah.
At least compared to what, you know,
I was he's
always a front runner.
Let's take a look-see here at the side-by-side battle.
And where'd you start this feature?
8th. 8th. Yep.
This is the last restart.
You actually got a good jump, too.
Yeah, he runs the 5-speed, and I run a 4-speed, so I had a little longer second gear than him.
Yep.
But he just gets such a monster run on the outside, being wound up. I tried to open up a little bit right there, and I left the door open for Canfield.
Oh,
He wisely backed out of it, though.
yeah, good on him, because that would have been real bad.
Yeah, CJ's a smart racer. He's not going to do anything crazy.
I mean, this is the mini stocks every week.
Every week.
That 53 car, man, he's always up there. That's Jared Roy's old car, isn't it?
Yeah, that thing's damn fast.
That's a good car. Yeah, this is like textbook mini stock racing at the bowl.
It's the whole feel. I mean,
it's still weird that you can't get the run on the inside.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm not used to this yet. It's been a while now. You're good, man. It's been a while now that since the track has been like this.
Right.
It's still weird for me when I watch it that you're not eventually getting the advantage on that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's strange.
Wasn't there one race like when Cassidy and whoever were side by side for literally the entire race?
Oh yeah, Sean Caron.
Yeah.
And that was a 33 lap race. It was they did it in honor of Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
Chuck Rogers. So yeah, I think they went side by side on lap 2 or 3. I don't know if it was the entire race, but it was close enough. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Nuts. Yep.
So in the trucks, Jake Kutu picked up the victory in the Crown Vics. Greg Prevost the third got the win in the NEMA cars, or NEMA midgets, sorry. Avery Storr won for the 6th time in his racing career in a NEMA midget at the Waterford Speedbowl. And then the NEMA lights, Mike, this is a doozy.
Pernissiglio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Won the 25 lapper.
Nephew of our man Derek Pernissiglio.
He's good, too.
Yeah.
Mike is good.
So then moving on to Saturday at Lime Rock in the NASCAR trucks, obviously Corey Heim picked up the win. Gio Ruggiero finished 3rd in the truck race. So
Yeah, that's pretty
good for
cool.
him.
Heim led 99 of 100 laps.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
What, did he
wild.
just not lead the first lap?
On a restart.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't lead the first lap on. Oh no, it wasn't even like on the restart. The truck on his outside just had a
inched
better
ahead.
jump and inched ahead
Yeah.
at the line. I think it was Lane Riggs. That was the one lap Heim didn't lead all race.
Yeah, there was not a lot of passing, I will say. Obviously, it was probably an amazing experience, but the product was not the best.
It's
in
just
my
tough
opinion.
because there were no hot pit stops. It was cold pit stops, like because they didn't want teams to
non-competitive.
travel from Lime Rock to Atlanta, so they had they're basically cold pit stops. So you had like 5 minutes or 2 minutes to work on your trucks, whatever, and position stayed the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
usually the way you kind of have to be Corey Heim at this point. I mean,
Unless
it's
he
hard to
beats
pass
himself.
him on the track. Yes, that also happens.
So then Sunday at White Mountain in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, Kyle Bonsignor got his first win since 2023, holding off Steven Kopsick over the final couple laps there. So
That was
Good.
pretty cool. See
Good
Kyle.
for him.
Yeah.
for sure.
He had bad luck this year. Like he could have won Seekonk this year, but they didn't tighten the wheel up on a pit stop and had to come back down pit road.
Yeah.
So he was really, really good. And I'm happy for Cam McDermott because he crew chiefs for that car.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've been together for a while.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I got to start paying attention.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, hold on. Before you go any further here, let's get some updates going here. Let's see what the points are looking like now that we got a lot of the local stuff going on. So we got over at Stafford,
Mike
and brought to you
Jr.
by Stafford. Yes, Mike Jr.
Running
still
away.
ahead.
Look at Mikey Flynn, though, man.
Mikey Flynn still in second.
The quietest 4th place you'll ever see, Michael Jarvis.
Yeah.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Marcello's has actually moved up to 3rd over Jarvis, but yeah, it's tight behind
Yeah.
Mikey Jr., but he's got quite the lead there.
Yeah. The name I really want to point you to on this list is Peter Bennett, 5th in that SK Light.
People sleep on him a lot.
They do.
All right, can I just say these in order here?
Okay,
Everyone's
okay.
jumping
Go
all
ahead.
over the place.
Jeez,
Jesus.
Sid, come on.
Kevin Gambacorder's got the lead over there in the late models now. Adam Gray in 2nd. Delicious carrying up the 3rd spot. Vericchio in 4th. Nick Covey, shocker, SK Light point leader. I'll be saying that for a while. What's he at now? 44 points. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yep, Amanda and Meg, 2nd and 3rd. Dean Lambros, and then go ahead, Fro.
Oh, I meant Peter Bennett. 50 car.
All right, Matt Clements got the lead again. As much as we were excited for Jason Lafayette, he did not have a good week.
No.
In terms of the points there. Hydar's back in second. Paradise up into third. Oh, actually, he's tied with Travis there. So Jason falls down to fourth. Devin Jensick in fifth. And then Bert now has the lead over Travis Downey, Tyler Trott, Aaron Plemons, Jason Raymond.
And before we move on, I also want to say those late model standings. Every week I looked at them, I was like, "Who's leading? I mean, what? Who's leading the points?"
Yeah.
And now as the dust is starting to settle, look who's atop the point standings
the
yet
crafty,
again.
Two fastest cars from last
Gambacorta
year.
and Gray.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over to the bowl. Moeller's in the lead over there. The SK's over Flannery, Rocco, Timmy, Rob. Deshay's still the leader in the late models over Doug and Kyle, Gaedeke and Emma. Nick Hovey, point leader in the SK Lights. You got to be kidding me, really?
He was involved in a wreck last week,
This
though.
one's only by a point over Robert Bloxham.
He and Bloxham got together, and Hovey ended up flattening a tire and hitting the wall.
Yeah. Jake Kutu, which I believe is his first career win at the Speedbowl, if I'm not mistaken.
He won once last year.
He did. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. Yep. All right. So he's now tied with Jason Beal for the truck point lead.
That's tight.
Yep. Really tight. Yep. For those
Wow,
top
yeah.
four. Jordan Hadley got the 1 point lead over Aaron. They did not race this week, so they're the same. And then look who's in the lead over there in the mini stocks. Our man Ray. Nice 9 point lead with that 53 car. Garside in third. So listen, the mini stock's going to be competitive all year. Ray knows this, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got a long way to go.
Long way to
But
go.
hey, I mean, you had pretty much the biggest point lead on that board, so
Yeah.
perhaps you.
Can't hate it.
Right.
Just gotta keep it up. Got to keep it up.
All right, let's go over the Crown Vics. Tyrese Mello is atop the Crown Vics. Nothing else has changed here because Wednesdays got rained out and the Legend Cars had the week off. Let's go over to Seekonk. The Pro Stocks. Rowdy Burns tied with Bobby Pellin. Now, don't forget, Rowdy Burns is a rookie in the Pro Stocks, so that is pretty impressive. But would you
That's
look at that?
top
Top five by 3 points.
Dang.
So Jennison and Dave Darling are just a point behind, and Vinny Arenagato is only 3 behind. So that is a serious point battle. Chase Belcher's still got the late model lead over Charlie Rose, Luke LeBrun. Colby Lambert now with a 3 point lead over Scott Saradinsky. And Mike Caballeros had a nice year maintaining that truck point lead for most of the summer so far. And then over there with the Fast Friday, you got Brent Robideau, Richie Johnson, Jacob Burns leading the Legend Cars as well. Jordan Duquette and the Outlaws, Jace Chaber and the Bandits. And then I got one last one for you here. I'm going to hit you up from our friends over at JDL Motorsports. The updated points there for the modified tour.
Ooh, wow.
Justin now with just a 1 point lead over Austin Beers. Lutz is 7 behind. And then McKennedy's got a pretty nice, I mean, it's not huge, but it's a solid lead over Chris Pastriak now in
Very
second.
solid.
Yep, Ronnie Williams in third. Then you got Missouri leading the MRS. They're racing this week. ACT is racing this week up in Canada. Pass and Supermods are racing tomorrow, actually, at Oxford Plains. So that's your point updates. Big thanks to Stafford and Mid-State Site Development, Seekonk Grand Prix, and JDL Motorsports. Sorry about that, Rob.
I mean, I'm almost starting to feel bad for John McKennedy on the Monaco at this point. I mean, I know he's leading the points, obviously. Something to write home about there, but it feels like every week, just somehow, some way, he just can't get fully to the front. I mean, we've interviewed him.
Yeah, he's
pretty much every single week that
every
they've
week
run.
he's been in the top 5 every race.
But like he just, I don't know. It just never comes to him.
He's super competitive too. Like there's some nights when he's happy, and there's other nights when he's like, you know what? Like, yeah, we screwed this up or we screwed that up. It's, you know, I like seeing that sometimes in guys. When,
I do too.
Yeah, you finish second or third, and it's like, yeah, but I came here to win.
And if you keep going like that, eventually it's got to work out.
It's, the cars just fall your way when you run up front all the time.
Right.
Not for him, I guess.
So Sunday in the Granite State Pro Stock race, Joey Pohl won the 100 lapper. And then finally, the ACT officials released the point and fun procedures for the newly minted Quebec Challenge Series, which will be comprised of 3 Milton Cat ACT events held in the Canadian province of Quebec, starting with the Claude Leclerc 150 at the Chaudière, and including the Beyond Bedard 149 at the Circuit Riverside Speedway on July 5th, and the Can-Am 200 at the Autodrome Wow.
Matt Money? I don't know.
Whatever.
that's
French
Hirschman's
thing.
nickname. That's not it.
On July 18th, a $5,000 point fund was announced with $2,000 going to the champion, $1,200 to second, $800 to third, $600 to fourth, and $400 for fifth. That's it for the weekly update. Belltime Motors, thank you again.
You the
That's all I
man,
got.
Jack.
Hell yeah.
Hey, listen, shout out to the Macrinos. Looks like they are watching from Boise, Idaho tonight, huh? That's pretty good.
What are they doing in Boise,
listen,
Idaho?
We're not going
what's
to go
out
down.
there?
We're not going to ask those questions, but
Going national.
yeah, Boise, Idaho.
What are we talking about?
You know what I mean?
For real.
Enjoy the potatoes.
Yeah, that's the one thing that comes to mind.
All right, Reminator just sipped her water. That means that she is ready to go. It's time for this week's unbelievably entertaining Waddell Communications Nostalgia Nugget of the week. You carried that.
A 7 out of 10.
Yeah, Remy carried that one. I fell off the cliff. It happens. Well, listen, we were at the Monaco race Wednesday, and I heard Ben Dodge say over the PA that we had lost Bob Vitari. Bob Vitari's legendary car owner with Vic Bombassi. They owned the fabulous V8 car. If you don't know what the V8 car is, this is the V8 car.
That is very
Bill
fabulous.
Slater.
Yeah, and it looks like it shuts off the music when I show you pictures. Sorry about that. But Bill Slater is the one who made this car famous. And this right here, that is Bob Vitari there on the left, Vic Bombassi in the center, and Wild Bill Slater there on the right side. So Remy's got a clip that she's going to show you. But before we get to that, I just wanted to share some stats, just how dominant this car was, okay? They built the V8 car. Bill Slater joined their team in the middle of or towards the end of 1958. They won maybe 4 or 5 races to end the season. Then they did a full season at the Speedbowl. In 1959, they won 15 races and the modified championship. The next year, they took that same car and had Don Collins drive it at the Speedbowl, and he won a record 17 modified race at the Speedbowl. To this day, that is still the record for the most wins in a single division in Speedbowl history. They built another V8 car and took Bill Slater to Norwood Arena and won the modified championship there in 1960. Then they won another championship in 1962. It was called Sportsman Championships after that. 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, all at Norwood Arena. Norwood Arena back then was like, I guess you could say the equivalent of maybe like Stafford now. It was the pinnacle of New England racing. That's where all the big stars went. That's where Pete Hamilton raced. Yeah. That's where Don McTavish raced. That's where Bugsy Stevens won championships up there. Fred DeSaro won championships up there. It was a legendary place, closed in the early 70s.
It's up by Boston, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And Bill Slater also won the Race of Champions in 1965. It was called the Longhorn National Modified Open, but the lineage of that is now what the current Race of Champions is. It was a 63-car field. The year before, his car actually caught on fire on pit road. There's a famous photo. I probably should have grabbed that. Anyways, I had the pleasure of interviewing Pete Zanardi, who I still talk to on a regular basis. Love Pete Zanardi. He's a great wealth of information. And so here's just a minute or two from the Speedbowl doc when he told me about, this is where I first learned about the V8 car. Go ahead, Rem.
They were just so successful. In 1959, they were just so successful.
I love that
Bill
shot.
Slater was real successful when he teamed up with the Connecticut Valley Rocket.
At the end of the 50s, Vitari and Bombassi, the two people in Essex, went racing. The story was that Gene White was driving the car for them and not doing very well. And Slater was driving the 11 for Baldy Simons.
Look at those
Simon's
cars,
car,
man.
the 11 was
So
overheating
awesome.
all the time. So one Wednesday night, they're getting tired of Gene White. And Vitari watches Slater get out of the 11, the 11 steaming up and everything, threw his helmet in the car or somewhere. So he goes over and asks Slater if he wants to drive the V8.
Look at
and
that
Slater
video,
says,
right?
I'm not sure I can handle a Chevrolet.
Howie Hodge video right there.
Anyway, he got into the V8 on the next Wednesday night. Finished second. Then next Saturday, won the race. And that was the start of the V8, which from 1959 to 1965, it's difficult to find a more successful modified team.
All right, so that is just I thought it was important to bring that up because the V8 car, to me, as a historian, and I've studied a lot of cars, to me, that's right up there with Old Blue, the Mystic Missile, Richie Evans 61, Teddy's 13. It's just an iconic car. It was dominant. It was probably the most dominant car in modified racing in the Northeast in the 60s. I knew that, I believe Vic Bombassi passed away several years ago. And Bob Vitari was in his early 90s.
I was about to say, he had to have been up there in age.
So he had a good run. Matter of fact, here is one of the recent pictures I found of him. So I don't know how long ago that was, but obviously more recent than the ones I was showing you there from the 1960s. So,
looks really good.
Yeah, so legendary guy. You know, back then the cars, it was all about craftsmanship, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was not
Innovation.
It wasn't going to buy it at Troyer or Bob Phil or any of these great guys that are doing things today. It was about innovation, and these guys were definitely innovative in what they did in the shop and the cars they brought to the track. So that's your nostalgia nugget of the week. It is time to go down to the fashionista himself.
Oh, yes.
Our main man, Rob, with the popcorn stat check.
Now, before we get into the stat check today, I want to thank our newish sponsor, Northeast Performance Parts. Thank you for coming on board here.
Giddy up.
Now, we got 2 questions today. You know, a little down from the usual count, but they are quite loaded. Let me get started with the first one here.
That's what she said.
That was meant for the other one. I was a little late on that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, now I'm just gonna get into it. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Look at Bonssa.
Now there were some antics, so to speak, over at the Bowman Gray Stadium recently. Do you want to roll the clip first before you ask the question? I feel like it contextualizes the situation.
Yeah, let's set it up. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Staley gets the win as they wreck across the start-finish line.
Remy, could you get a smaller video
can we
clip?
blow this up?
That is all big as it can get.
So the 2 yellow cars, they're related.
Yes.
And the 2 black cars are related.
Correct.
Aid his son to victory.
Can we get like Windows magnifier?
I know, what are we
going or
doing
something?
here?
Bro, I can't even. I can barely see it.
Won the race fair and square, but things got a
There you
little
go.
wild. Wait, no.
They gave the checkered
That
flag
doesn't really
to Brad
work
Lewis.
that well.
Brad Lewis is now being declared the winner. Lewis, the officials deeming that the 7 and the 8. Oh, the fans are going crazy. It's bird season. Some of them are cheering.
It's
Some of them are
bird
flipping
season.
him off. Here comes Staley. He's out of the car. Here comes on the front stretch. Staley and Emily Lewis are not happy.
Oh, we got some jaw jacking on the start-finish line.
Some jaw
Staley.
check.
Here
comes Zach Staley running across the grass.
It's like it's Glenn Griswold from Sid's View back in 2012.
Yeah.
At Bowman Gray Stadium. He's not happy. He's going after Emily. He gets on Emily.
Hi-ya!
And he jumps on it. Destruction.
It's a hell of a
He's
jump.
ripping the sheet metal off the car. Staleys are fighting. Everybody's on their feet.
All
and
right,
now
Ramses.
they're...
So Rob sent this clip in the group text. I could just tell he was pissed off when he sent it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I watched that clip. I thought it was pretty entertaining.
That guy
so
took flight.
let me
Holy.
get to the next part of that. So that clip,
Go.
I mean, if you could see it, I want to ask you all today: do those kind of antics have a place in racing? Is it something that's going to draw more eyes to the sport? And more importantly, if it is, are they the eyes that we want on the sport? Bonssa, you look like you're about to let out an exasperated sigh over there.
I already did. It's such a somewhat conflicting topic because Why did NASCAR become huge?
Because of the fight with the
in
Allisons.
1979 Daytona 500, the Allisons versus Yarborough. That's what put NASCAR on the national map because everybody was at home, snowed out, and they only had 4 channels back then, and they saw that race.
Even that.
Well, let's start the insanity.
But times have changed, okay? 79 was a long time ago. I don't like that. I know it's going to happen, especially at that track.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know it's going to garner a metric ton of views.
Yeah, correct.
And I know you want to get eyes on the sport. But is it good when the views that go viral are those clips and that's the first thought they have about racing is seeing stuff like that?
Yeah, but you're a big... don't you follow wrestling?
Different sport, but yes.
Okay. So, I mean, and you're entertained by it, right?
Yeah, but wrestling is literally about fighting. Racing is not about fighting.
Yeah, at Bowman Gray it is.
True.
I mean, but Olympic wrestlers will tell you that wrestling is not about ladder matches and people falling through tables and big entrances and all that.
But yeah.
Right.
So, you know, I don't think that's racing, but it's still entertaining. Like, it still cracks me up. The guys did a freaking drop kick into the windshield. Like, it's all stupid, but it's entertaining.
I guess
but when that's all that track is known for, I don't think that's a positive.
Yeah,
I don't.
It
like
cements,
Waterford has fights,
yes,
but Waterford also has really damn good racing. There's a balance there.
Right.
Bowman Gray's racing is not that great.
They're beyond that point.
Like they're just bullying each other, and then they fight about it. Like.
I don't think people go there to watch racing, though. They go there to watch that.
See, I don't think that's good.
Why?
Because that is attached to NASCAR regional. Like,
I
ultimately
came to see
is.
a fight and a race broke out.
Right.
That's basically the mindset.
Yes.
I don't think that's good.
To me, it just sort of cements that the problem we already kind of struggle with, that NASCAR is always going to be like this blue collar, like, for lack of a better term, sort of hickish thing. This sort of cements that for me. If that's what we're going to run with, that's the direction that the perception of the sport is going to keep going. And I don't think that's conducive to any sort of long-term growth.
And like, there's this Twitter account called Awful Announcing, which is a popular announcer's Twitter account, and they retweeted that, which they normally don't retweet much about racing, but they retweet that. And I think it just drives me up a wall because that's all that I feel like gets exposed about racing in the mainstream is stuff like that. We have great racing in the state almost every week, if not every week. That doesn't go viral. Why can't that be shown to a lot of people to show what real racing's about, in my opinion?
I just think that Bowman Gray's never going to be racing. Like, you guys, I understand that it bothers you, and I agree. Like, it's not good racing. I would rather watch an SK race at Stafford any day of the week or a mini stock race at Waterford. I don't disagree with any of that. But that is entertaining. That made me laugh. Like, I don't look at Bowman Gray to watch racing because I can watch Stafford or I can watch the racing up here. It's better. I know that going in. I think the people that go there know that going in.
And it works for them because the track sells out.
It's packed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say they don't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
They really know how to, excel off of that.
It's not a bad business model. I understand, like, the diehards of the sport are going to be mad at it, but I just don't think that that's, like, does Bowman Gray claim to be some great beacon? I know that, I guess when they had the Clash, they were kind of doing the history of the racing there. I think the problem, is probably that NASCAR operates the place now. And so I
don't think that really makes a difference as to how it's portrayed.
No, but it does in the sense that people are, because NASCAR operates it, does the casual fan think that it's legitimate racing because it's a NASCAR?
It's blended together, especially because the way it came across that clip, I was scrolling, the feed, and that was the first clip that appeared. I mean, if you're casually getting racing stuff into your algorithm, that's what you're going to see. I don't think we want that to be the face of NASCAR regional.
Bowman Gray fights have always been posted whether NASCAR owned the track or not.
Correct.
So I don't think that makes a difference. And Bowman Gray's NASCAR sanctioned anyways. So I don't think that really makes a big difference. I just hate how those are the ones that get 5,000 likes and 2,000 reposts. Yet we could have a 3-wide finish between Julio, Rocco, and Christopher, and that might break 100
Well, the reception,
likes.
Once it's posted, the reception you don't really have control over. I think it's more about the presentation of that content. Is that being something that we should be celebrating?
No,
I mean, it's
in
not.
my opinion,
It's not
no.
like the post was like, look at this awful fight, which obviously isn't how you're going to present it, but like that's the clip that they chose to post from that night. That's the one that blew up.
I mean, we had the fight 4 years ago with Steven Kopsik and Dan Wesson. That was a fight.
Yeah.
That was a brawl at the track on the broadcast.
I guess
how many posts were made about it afterwards?
None.
None.
Yeah, but that's just but I mean, two of the most popular videos in Sid's View history is Glenn Griswold having a meltdown running across the infield and Nicole losing her shit going after Teddy, which could clearly happen at Bowman Gray anytime.
Yeah, but it happens, I feel like, every week there.
It almost seems like it's encouraged to an extent.
does.
Like, it feels a little bit forced.
Like, if it happens here and there, okay, I get it. But Bowman Gray, I feel like it's a weekly thing where these things happen, and I feel like it's just too much to almost not almost. To me, it is a detriment to the sport when it's every week.
I almost felt like when you were playing that clip, like, were the officials, were they saying like, oh yeah, don't give the flag to the other guy and let's start some shit?
It almost feels like it though, doesn't it?
It does.
No, I think the correct winner was called at the finish.
I don't have a problem with it. And I understand what you guys are saying. I think what you guys are saying is what is the general feel for here in the chat, and that it's a bad reflection on what the sport is. I'm just resigned to the fact that Bowman Gray is not racing. You know, like, and Ray and I were talking about this earlier before we went live on the air. Like, when we go to Charlotte, that's on the list. Like, if we're there on a Saturday, right? We're going.
I was just going to ask Bonssa, like,
don't get me wrong, I would go there once.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go there once. I'm not gonna lie.
But you would go for the spectacle,
You're going
not
for
for racing, right?
Sadly.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
But that's the problem I have.
There's
It's a
something wrong with that,
conflict. It's an internal conflict.
Organized motorsports
because you want to
entertainment.
see what it's like,
Of course.
in person. Because in person's way different than watching on Flow.
Of course.
But golly,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not
every
saying
week,
it's like it's not some malicious thing by the track. It's not like, oh, like, you know, let's ruin the reputation of racing by having this. It's not at all.
That's just
and
the
I totally
nature
get
of the
that's
track.
what works for them.
That's their gimmick.
But the reality is, when you look at racing, the broader scale of the U.S., I mean, NASCAR is not like, you know, primarily, I guess, if you want to call it the premier motorsport, it's not like they have the whole market share anymore. There's a lot of racing fans in the U.S. now that like other forms of racing that aren't NASCAR, and if that's going to become the face of oval asphalt racing, you're never going to net those guys in.
Well, that's the thing, is that you're going to have the biggest, like the most popular short tracks, Stafford and Bowman Gray.
Right?
That makes me gag. I'm sorry. Like, because they're two completely different racetracks for two completely different reasons being put on that pedestal in the sport of auto racing. That's what bothers me. It's like those two are the epitome of short track racing,
right?
But it's for very different reasons, and I'm not a fan of Bowman Gray's reason because it's not really racing. It's just racing is secondary. Racing should be primary.
It's barely a racetrack.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but says who? Like, it doesn't have to be.
What?
It doesn't have to be primary.
To me, maybe I'm just too much of a freaking purist. I don't know.
But what I'm saying is, like their business model works.
It does. I can't argue that. It
Why
does
would they
work.
ever change that? They're
Right.
never going to change it. If I ran Bowman Gray, I would never change it.
But it just bothers.
I don't
also,
think anybody
the
actually...
fans bother me to a degree too, because fans complain about dirty driving and yet they watch that. That also bothers me. That dichotomy of like fans who say, "Oh, I hate when people hit each other and rough each other up and give each other the bumper," and yet that is the most packed racetrack every week.
I think real race fans can, you know, separate those thoughts, though, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right. They know if they're watching Bowman Gray, that's why they're watching it.
Yeah.
They know if they're watching Stafford, you know, they're watching 30 SKs go at it. you know?
Right. If the Stafford clips, not Stafford specifically, but if the good racing went viral, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Right.
But it doesn't. It's the fights that always go viral.
Yeah. I mean, you look at like again, even at Stafford, like you look at analytics for videos. Our most popular video last year, upset drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I came home from the Monaco race, before I did anything, the first thing I did was put Austin Beers' wreck into a reel and post
People love watching the wrecks.
You have to. That's just the way of the world.
I know. I hate it.
I know.
I hate people sometimes because it doesn't make sense to me. It's just hypocritical to me.
You're
a
that
double
Olympic
standard in a way.
wrestler in the top, in the upper deck at WrestleMania, going, "That wasn't a real move. What do you mean? What do you mean the ref didn't see it?"
Listen, at least no, we're not even going there.
All right, Seth.
What else you got?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of just running in circles on this one. Should Stafford weekly drivers be allowed to race down a division, specifically in the ladder that they're not in? So what I mean by that, you basically have, it's sort of like a 3-tiered thing. You have street stocks, then you either go into limited lates or your SK lights, and then you have lates and your SKs, right?
Yeah.
If you drive an SK, you can't drive a limited late. Drive a late model, you can't drive an SK light.
Boo. I don't like that rule.
Tell me why.
I think you should be able to drive whatever you want.
First of all, Bonssa is still pissed off about Bowman Gray.
No, I'm actually no. Well, yes, but no, I'm actually like thinking about this one because I don't really know how I would feel.
So when Keith Rocco was carving him up at the Speedbowl, and he was winning in all these different divisions, and he would race in a legend car, he'd be in a Nemo light, and even the fact that he was in an SK and would go and race a late model, like, to me, that's awesome. Like, Stafford has the luxury of doing that because they have the car counts. Most tracks, you really shouldn't enforce that rule because it's bad. That's why the Crown Vic rule at the Speedbowl we think is really bad. But
yes.
Yeah, I don't really. That was a thing back in. I remember, matter of fact, Flying Brian McCarthy, for the old timers out there, legendary late model guy.
Oh yeah,
he raced at the Speedbowl in the late model in the early '80s. Dick Williams was running the Speedbowl. He left Stafford. He went to Stafford and drove an SK. I want to say it was for Kyle Garrow's dad, Mike Garrow, and they didn't last the whole season for whatever reason. Crashed out, money, I forget, whatever. So he wanted to come back and race the late model at the Speedbowl, and they wouldn't let him because he raced an SK at Stafford. And they eventually, it went on for quite a while, but they eventually ended up letting him race. Anyways, that's 40 years ago, but I just think with today's car counts, and again, Stafford has the luxury of having really good car counts, so I think they can get away with enforcing this rule. But in general, I don't think that limiting drivers to their look at Seekonk and how many guys race the pro stocks and the late models.
Yep.
Like, that's a good thing, you know.
Well, I mean,
legends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with the line of reasoning completely. My main thought is if you're a late model driver and you want to break into open wheel stuff, which is, totally reasonable, it happens all the time. Like, is the expectation that you're just going to immediately buy an SK mod? I mean, I would think logically, all right, I'm going to try out the SK Light for a few races first, right?
Right.
Well, you can do a couple races during the season.
Yeah, but you can't run them both simultaneously. Like, you're not going to get a whole feel for it.
Right. Yeah, you can do, I think, 3. I think 3 is the maximum you can go.
Yes.
If you want to try a higher up
yeah,
division.
I mean, if they even increase that to like 10, you know what I mean?
I don't mind the rule they have now. Like, SKs and late models can compete together, which I think is great. I don't know if there's a gigantic benefit to having a Keith Rocco race in the limited.
Yeah, but
except maybe it'll bring more eyes to the limiteds, I guess. But
I mean, if you buy a ticket, you buy a ticket. Like,
yeah, you're there no matter what.
Most people watch the whole program.
Yeah, so I don't see an issue with what they have now. Like, if you can run SKs and late models, that's great.
Can Nick Hovey come back in a street stock
The next year.
He can't come back. He can't run a street stock race this year because he's in the SK
Unless
lights?
it's like when we had the Cletus event.
Yeah.
He could have ran that.
Forget that event. Like a normal event.
No, he can't.
Yeah, see, that's a bad rule. I mean, I don't even know if they still have their race, but why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah, so the exact rule is cross-division competition will be permitted upon approval and a maximum of 3 times throughout the season. All cross competition must be approved by Stafford, and then there's the matrix. So it's 3 times, and you have to get approved for it.
Foster tried to implement this at the Speedbowl when he was running it, and
he wasn't going to let me run Soups race for a while.
Oh, that's right.
I remember that.
That was a big thing.
They had to put a whole petition out.
Right.
Oh,
that was a huge deal.
Yeah, that was. They eventually let you, right?
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
Right.
I mean, they should have let you just because Soup was family.
Yeah,
but
it was me, Kenny, and Dougie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I get not wanting to let an SK guy come down and just completely blow the doors off the street stock division, but like I don't really see
if it's
an
like
issue.
if it's like a limited to an SK light, yeah, I could see
right,
that.
That's
or
what I'm
vice
saying.
versa.
Yeah.
I could see that. But like SKs, I don't think besides late models, they should be able to go down to. I don't even want to say go down because that sounds like disrespectful, but like I don't know. I think the rule they have now is okay.
Right. Like I totally get you don't want SK guys running an SK light. But, like, are you really going to transition if you're an SK and you're like, oh, I want to run Fender? Like, I want to get into the Fender stuff, baby. Like,
I guess
you have to go straight to lates?
I guess my thought would be like, what makes the hierarchy of the divisions, based on your talent level.
Right.
Just because you can afford to race an SK doesn't mean you're better than the guy that's running a street stock.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Great point.
That's true.
At what point do those lines mesh?
So under Stafford's rules, Ray is actually illegally running a mini stock.
Right.
Because he's run.
Because that's what I can afford.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right.
what I'm saying. Like in
Right.
today's world, you shouldn't be limiting people like that. Right. If you try something else and it didn't work out and you cashed out and you want to just go back and have fun, you should be able to do that.
You can do that for the next season.
Well, yeah,
but
you can do it next
yeah,
season. It's not like you're permanently banned.
Right.
So another thought would be,
But what's the difference if it's next season or not?
Right.
I don't even understand why. What does that mean?
I just that's the rules. Just
No, I understand
if
that's the rule, but what's
well, actually, no. I think if you stop racing SKs mid-season, you could probably race a different division if you commit to it. I think.
I mean,
I'm
sorry,
not
I don't mean to
100%
laugh,
sure.
but I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
so like, what if Todd's got a rental car? Say Todd Owen has a rental SK Light. He's got out there struggling with it, and they say, I want to take it out and find out what's wrong with it.
You can practice.
He can practice, but he can't race it.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, how about Monahan? I don't know if it was the same season or not, but again, this is going back to the early days of SID's View. But he had the classic thing with him and Chris Meyer, and then I forget if it was later on in the same season he had the race with Rocco in the SK, and then he went back after years of running an SK. He went back to Thompson and won back-to-back sportsman championships. Some racers are versatile like that. Why would you not? I don't know. I just think that, listen, Stafford obviously clearly has to have some sort of reasoning behind it. I just think it's just like overthinking it. Like, just have them race. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand like the basic logic behind the rule. I just think, like we've been saying, it would be such a crowd pleaser type of moment to see what if Monahan was still running an SK and he went down to like a streeter for a race? Like that'd be a banging race, and that would be almost a selling point for that race.
Right.
Like if a couple of the SK guys were in the street stock 30 lapper, I would not complain about that. I think that would make it a pretty star-studded special event.
I see what y'all are saying.
Yeah, and I mean, somebody said Jacob Burns. He's running pro stocks and legend cars, right? Jason Palmer's gone back to a legend car here and there over the years. I think Dana DiMatteo did it a little bit when he first got in the SKs. Like, to me, there's nothing wrong with any of that. I feel the more the better. We're not. The way the sport is now, I think limiting people's eligibility for, I just don't understand the logic behind it.
Right.
Especially if you're saying you can do it next year, you just can't do it in the middle of this year. Like, what does that even mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, but.
Because, I know Wade Gagner started in SK Lights this year, and then he went to SKs. Granted, that's moving up a division, but I think he could do that in reverse, too.
Right.
Go from SKs to SK Lights mid-season as long as he's not cross-competing at the same night.
Right.
Yeah. I guess I guess I have too many years of, filming Keith Rocco win 3 races.
That's what I'm saying. I just think about it from a fan perspective. Like, it would be cool to see those guys in their divisions. I do understand the reasoning of why it was implemented, though.
Yeah.
That's the stat chat. And like I said, we did not need 3 questions on that one.
No.
I'll tell you that right now.
We kind of felt like that was going to be a long one, yep.
And that it was.
All right. Bonssa still got steam coming out of his ears over Bowman Gray, but we are carrying on. It's time for this week's Did You Know segment. Broadbrook Heating and Cooling helping us out. All right, I got a nice little trivia nugget for you. There was a lot of talk of how Kyle Bonsignor was the 6th different winner on the Whelen Modified Tour this year.
Yep.
Did you know that the last time there was 6 different winners was in 1999?
It's been that long.
Correctamundo.
Oh, gosh.
And there was actually 7 winners back then. And I believe who broke the streak there, Jack? Was it Tony Hirschman, I think it was?
Yeah. Tony Hirschman was
the first one to win twice.
And then he won again in at Star, I think, in July of 90-something.
Wow, 26 years.
So it is rare. There was also a 6 winners, different winners to start in 1994. And those are the only 3 times that there's been at least 6 different winners. So it is definitely a rare occurrence.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I guess it's definitely good for the competition, right? When you have
there's still a couple drivers that could win.
Yeah. For sure. All right, listen, you got big shoes to fill over there, my man.
Oh boy.
It's Bonsa's segment.
It's Bonsa's segment.
Don't say that. Diego's gonna be real
He
teed
will-
off if
he
you
might
say
get
it's
mad.
my segment.
He might get mad. All right, Ed Marceau's Firewood and Land Clearing going to help us out.
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
I don't know. But yeah, shout
Right
out
now
to
it's
Ed
0.
Marceau, Firewood and Land Clearing for the viewer mail. Let's begin. Do I have to say it like Diego does?
Please.
Are you ready?
No, make sure you gotta.
I'm doing things. Hold on.
I'll start.
Hold on. Wait, go ahead. Sorry, Bonsa.
You gotta start every read with, and this one's from my good friend.
I was about to say, this one's from my good friend, Joseph.
Okay.
He does it well.
Yeah, that's very good, actually. Yeah.
I want to thank you all for visiting Seekonk Speedway last week. It was awesome meeting you. What was your impression on the racing and of the track itself? Hope to see you all back again soon. Joe P., your Seekonk track official.
Ooh.
Why don't we kick this one over to Jack? Because it was actually Jack's first time there at Seekonk.
It was, yeah. No, it was pretty cool. I liked the amphitheater vibe of it.
Yeah.
And I liked, in a weird way, I liked the bridge, like the little bridge over with the
goes over to the turn 4.
Turn
Yeah,
4.
yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I thought, given the heat and everything, I thought the crowd showed up and
the downpour.
And
Yeah,
the
that was
heat,
odd.
the downpour, and it was live streamed, and it was still a really good crowd.
And it felt, it felt like a very tight knit community in there, and it was a good time. I had fun.
Yeah.
I love walking and looking down at the track.
Yes.
A lot of tracks you go up to
Right.
see it, but you go down at
Yeah, the
Seekonk.
midway's the highest point.
Yeah, it's a
cool.
really cool visual.
It is cool. I would love to get there for a weekly show too. And I always think like when I'm here, like, oh, Seekonk's so far away, but the drive from my house to Seekonk's about the same as it is to Stafford. So
It's not as far as you think it is.
it's really not.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's right off the highway, or for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
All right.
but big thanks to Joe. He gave us a box of goodies and everything. It was great to meet him. So we appreciate that, and hope he still keeps watching. So we appreciate the support.
All right. You ready for the next one? This one comes from another good buddy of mine, Sean Miner. I actually know who this guy is.
Oh.
All right.
Good evening, lady and gentlemen. A quick question for the show this week. What's everyone's thoughts on outside the car introductions? To celebrate Seekonk's 80th season, the track held twin 40-lap sport truck and sportsman features. For each of those features, they backed the vehicles up to the wall like they did back in the day and introduced the drivers outside the vehicles. I understand the nostalgia. However, doing that for both divisions took about an hour collectively and sucked the wind out of any momentum the program had. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I love outside intros for a big, nightcap race. Get them out on the grid, bring them out. Stafford does it great. But doing it for what is it? 2 divisions?
Two divisions.
Twin features? That's
Yeah.
just overkill.
It's a little overkill.
I say you get one good outside intro per night, right? I mean,
If you're not behind.
Yeah.
That's the
even
big
then,
thing.
they have no qualms with killing it over there.
Yeah.
If the show's running late already.
Outside intros are cool. You just got to make sure you're ahead, not even on schedule, like ahead, because
Yes. Right.
they take time because you have to roll them out, make sure they're all gridded correctly. Then intro 30 drivers. That takes a decent amount of time.
Right.
Plus, they got to climb in their cars, buckle in, and then do the command, and then the pace laps.
Right. Now, the
time
presentation
accumulates.
the presentation also matters a lot.
It does.
I mean, if it was in a
yes.
place like the bowl and the mic's dying every 5 seconds,
Yes.
I'd say just roll the cars.
Very true.
I've always wondered if the drivers like him. Do you like outside intros, or do you not care?
I'd like I think the in-car front stretch intro is probably the happy medium.
Yeah.
You're strapped in,
So
you're ready to
you
go.
Stop. You stop on the track, but you don't get out.
Right.
Yeah.
You do the
gotcha.
driver start your engines thing, and
Yeah.
you take off. you
Yeah, the
know?
command comes immediately after intros because
Yes.
everyone's buckled in.
Right.
Well, that's the key component. Is that I feel like listen, I wasn't there, so I can't really speak for it. If it took a half hour, that is kind of long. Yeah. And then if you did it for 2 different divisions, I can see what his beef is. Yeah, they have to be executed properly. Let's take all the if there was rain delay or a red flag in the race before, let's take that out of it. Let's just say there was enough time to do it. It still needs to be executed properly. And like I remembered the bowl, and listen, Foster's my guy, so I don't want to disparage him here, but this is one of the things we disagreed on. And he had he had an elaborate intro
yeah.
setup, and it involved the cars like coming out, but then they parked on the backstretch, which didn't make sense to me because they were as far away from the fans as possible.
They would introduce the driver, and as they introduced him, they would roll out on the front stretch for the fans to acknowledge him, and then bring him to the backstretch to park it.
To his defense, I don't think it was ever executed the way he envisioned it. But that's my point: is that if it's not executed properly, then it becomes it's not good for the fans.
Just don't overthink it.
Yeah, right. And Stafford does do it pretty well. And I think like what you're saying, Ray, because we always ask, like when we're working with Monaco, that's one of the questions we ask him: are we doing outside intros? Because for us, it's a lot easier to turn on the GoPros if there's outside intros. You can just walk down and turn them on,
said that
right?
in the chat. Yep.
And then he did, so he knows, right? And so, but if there's a rain delay or there's a red flag in the 2 races before, and then we need to know, because if they switch to that, sometimes if they do that where you don't get out of the car, we still have time to do it. But it's, but to me that's like plan B, right? If that you don't have them out of the car, but you can still do that, because I would think if you're having that big event and they are going to be showcased, you could have drivers that are going to have sponsors there or family there, or make it a point to get people that support them there. So you don't want to scrap it all together. But then if you have an hour and a half rain delay and the street stock race right before had a 30-minute red flag, then you really have no choice, where you kind of have to scrap it because you're throwing the green flag at 11:10 p.m.
Yeah.
And then it's not a good idea. So I think that if they're done properly, it's a really great way to showcase your drivers, and that is important.
That is very huge.
And of
prestigious races, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's the thing, right? You do it when it's a big time race. And so again, we weren't there the way that was it Sean that sent that in? Sean Miner?
Yeah, Sean Miner.
Yeah. So I feel like it sounds like that might have taken a little bit too long. The only thing I would say is if they just did it for one division, it probably would have been okay.
Right.
Maybe
but
the
not
fact that
two.
they tried to do 2, especially with that elaborate thing where they're walking, basically, it sounds like they were walking across the infield.
Oh, really?
Is that how he described it? Where they were parked on the back and they
backed the vehicles up to the wall, I think like at an angle.
Yeah.
Almost like how they do pit party.
You mean the front stretch wall?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I was reading that correctly. But even so, if they're backing in almost like a
That
pit
takes
party.
time.
Yeah, that's right. You're not just lining up like you're going to, because then if you're just lining up 2 by 2, when you're done, you just fire up the pace car and go. That's like you're parking them for a pit party.
Right.
You ever see the milk bowl? You ever see the milk bowl intro?
Yeah, that's very elaborate.
Yes.
So like the drivers go into the grandstands pretty much.
Yeah.
Into the parking lot. The crews push the cars out of the pits, push them by hand all the way around the racetrack and line them up. And then the drivers come to the grandstand. It's this whole elaborate thing. It's awesome, but that's a huge event, and that's the show and everybody expects that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it takes time. I mean, that's got to take 45 minutes.
And I assume that's a long-standing, like very long-standing tradition there.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't sound like something that would just be concocted like
right. Like
when
we
ago.
ran that,
right.
we ran that in like 2017, and they told us the whole deal. We had like 3 guys with us that day. Like, we got to push this car all the way around.
Yeah.
Right.
Use that banking to your advantage.
Definitely.
We got some funny pictures. It's
But
pretty
to their credit, those are very elaborate, but they pull them off properly. And I've always thought like the Thunder Road fans, like they enjoy it. They were, they're into it.
Right.
And I think we kind of chatted with Tapley about one of the events last year where I was kind of like, it was taking way too long. And he was like, no, it was actually faster than we expected. I forget what it was, but they, I guess if you have to, I guess the point is you got to have to know your audience as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like Thunder Road, they actually might expect that. It'd be a lesser event if they didn't have that elaborate thing because it's such a tradition to it.
They all stick around and watch the cow come out on the trailer.
Yep.
Right.
In
Yeah.
victory lane.
Nobody leaves.
Right.
They all stay for that. you
Yeah.
know?
So that was a good question.
Rob, you're confused. You never seen that before with
No,
the
I
milk
don't.
bowl?
I don't believe I've seen the cow come out.
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta
in
go to the
victory
milk
lane.
bowl. You got to go to the milk
Oh,
bowl.
that's
Yeah.
shocking.
How about stop watching NASCAR FS1 practice and mix in the milk bowl on some slow racing, guy?
Actually, practice isn't on F1 anymore.
All right.
You shut it.
You would know that, you dork.
Damn right.
What, is it on Prime or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This one comes from all of our good buddies.
That's what she said.
Sid, I mean, you gotta chill with this. What the hell was that even for?
Go ahead.
Why'd I come?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't make me hit it again, dude. Don't make me hit it again. Wow. I'm just going to leave that
Don't
one
ask
alone.
him, Bonssa. I don't think you want the answer.
I told you at the beginning. Stop walking right into him. Now, come on.
This is
Let's
more of a
finish this
I
softball
segment.
barely
already.
took half a step.
Let's go. Come on.
This one comes from Jeremy Martin.
Oh, yes. He's a familiar face in the old viewer mail.
You
Oh,
didn't say my
yes.
friend.
He's not my friend. No, I'm kidding.
Damn.
Love you, Jeremy. Should extra distance races have a stipulation on car count? Crown Vics at Waterford drew 6 cars for their extra distance event, the 40 lapper that became Twin 20s. Open Mods and 604s at Thompson had 10 cars or less. These races are boring at the normal car count. His words, not mine.
Okay.
No less additional laps. Maybe there should be a stipulation of at least 15 cars or more to get extra distance and the purse. Is a black flag... Oh, let's start with that question. He's got 2 questions.
Okay, extra distance, sure. The purse, though, you got to keep the purse.
You got to keep the
You
purse.
absolutely have to keep
That's
the purse.
what they
the same.
signed up for.
I mean,
Yeah.
people will be
Yeah,
livid
yeah.
if you start saying, "Oh, it's not enough of you. We're cutting the purse in half." I mean, that's not going to go.
That'd
over.
be
I mean,
brutal, yeah.
the purse is being cut in half by the lack of cars, so
Right.
you don't have
Right.
to cut the purse in half.
Right. The tracks are paying out less,
They're
actually,
making
because of
yeah,
that.
they're making out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. I think cutting the laps contingent to the car count, that's basically the
Yeah.
question. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's correct.
The Street Stocks
Yeah.
had their 50 lapper at Waterford 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it
And
was
there-
a drag.
and
They
there
gave
was
them all
only
50?
6.
There was only 6 cars, and they kept it 50 laps, and it was brutal.
Yeah,
like
it's
it
I mean,
was
would
so
would
brutal.
anyone have been that upset if they said this is now 15 laps? We're paying the same purse out.
35.
35 or
you know,
30?
something like that.
Yeah.
If it's only 6 cars, I would chop it.
I mean, back in the limited late model days of 6 cars at Stafford, the features were supposed to be 20. They cut them to 15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they do that for the Enduros. The Enduros
true, with the
is
car
they're
count.
100
Yep.
laps if they're this, they're 75 laps if it's
they go
this.
on to 50,
It's
right?
the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I think if it's that low of a car count, you should cut the laps. Keep the purse, though. I
Yeah.
feel like that's not
It's
even a
non-negotiable.
debate.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's what you've been pitching all this time.
Yes.
You can't cut the purse.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
of people that won't come back if you do that.
The Speedbowl has a 100 lap late model race, don't they?
Yep. End of July.
Yeah.
I mean, if they got less than 8 cars, to me, they should cut that down
it's
in
July,
half.
July 26th.
least.
So that's in 4 weeks. Yeah. So
they ran that last year. They pulled. They
They
a good
did pull
amount
a
of cars.
decent amount of cars for that. You're right. That is true.
yeah, they had like 16 or 17, right?
Yeah. So if
Yeah.
they get that, that's
Yeah,
fair.
run
But
the
if
full
they get the
distance.
normal weekly count, then
It's all
Right.
about how they advertise it.
that's
Yeah.
true.
You know, they can't put 2 days before the race that it's 2,000 to win. You know,
You-
they got to put that out.
Yeah, like
Early.
now.
You'd
Yeah.
be surprised how many times in certain events I ask people, "Are you going?" I didn't even know that event was happening.
Yeah, that's bad.
It happens way more than you think.
Yep.
So that promotion is critical, whether it's the old-fashioned way on paper or on social media. And it's kind of eye-opening to me the last couple of years, like certain events people have no idea happened because they just didn't see it promoted.
Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about that previous stat champ.
All right, second question.
bring it.
Is a black flag the right call still when your field is less than 10 cars? Should someone be parked instead based off the field of cars and the instance in question? Sending someone to the back of a 10-car field does not really do much versus when there's fields of 20-plus cars. He's not necessarily wrong.
I see the thought. But
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can park them, though.
I mean, if you're parking them and it's a 6-7 car race, then okay, so you finish 7th. So it's really not
Yeah.
that big of a deal either.
Right.
You know, you just don't have the chance to get back up there, I guess. But
I don't know any benefit to doing that. I don't know. I just don't see it.
what do you mean? You don't
Parking
to
them?
parking them as opposed to just sending them to the back. I mean, if you send them to the back, you still make a statement maybe, and then, if you get more cars down the road. Like, I'm just not a fan of them changing the penalty for an action based on the car count.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah,
I've definitely thought that before in certain circumstances that have happened in the past. I don't really have a certain stance on it because I see the pros and cons.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rob. You don't want to change penalties based on the car count.
Right.
But if it's a 7-car race and the guy in 4th, committed the infraction and you send him to the back, he's sending him back 3 spots. I mean, is that really a penalty?
I mean, I guess if it's bad enough, you could put them a lap down or something.
I was about to say
Yeah,
a
hold
lap
them
down,
a lap.
maybe.
Hold them a lap, sure.
But do you get a free pass, or are you eligible for the free pass?
And typically penalty laps, you're not eligible.
Right.
Typically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're good enough, maybe they could just, like we're saying, if it's 7 cars, if they drive back to the front and get back on the lead lap, like,
that'd
at that point, you earned it.
Really hard to do.
Right.
But would it be in a
getting
7-car field throw the fastest car? Would it be that hard?
You imagine getting parked for spinning
to
somebody, though?
unlap yourself and then pass them again?
You pass the leader, you're back on lead lap, caution comes out, you're telling them lead lap.
Oh, yeah, if you're hoping for a caution, maybe.
Right.
What were you saying, Ray?
Imagine if you got DQ'd or parked for spinning somebody out. Like, that would kind of suck.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I just don't think parking them for like a rough driving is, unless it's really egregious.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got 2 more. We want to keep rolling?
For sure.
All right. This person doesn't have their name. It's just their email.
Okay.
So, question is simple. Where is RJ Marcotte, Tyler Chapman, Tyler Chapman, John Pulio? I'm not sure what that's
I think it's John Pulio at Waterford.
Oh, at Waterford, yes. And Norm Root and Al Stone. Well, Marcotte, did he sell all his stuff? Or was he putting it all up for sale?
I don't know Marcotte's answer.
Yeah,
I
because
know they
he was
parked him for the
suspended.
year.
Yeah, he was suspended indefinitely, and I think they were trying to put his stuff up for sale.
Yeah. Is it still going? Because it came up earlier when we were first reading the questions, and I wasn't sure.
I don't think it's been bought up because he hasn't come back yet.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he's still technically suspended.
I mean, Al Stone hasn't gone. He went on vacation, and then
Right.
the Streeters were off last week. So I expect him to be back on Saturday.
I think Norm Root might be focusing more on Stafford. He did wreck his car a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's
in
why,
practice.
right?
Yes.
And then right, and so then he didn't race the next day at the Speedbowl, and then they were off.
Right.
So, and then Pulio, I think that's just dealer's choice. They've chosen the race at Stafford and Thompson.
Yeah, I mean they're going well at both tracks,
Right.
So why alter it by adding another day of racing?
I mean, you can't fault anybody for saying, "Well, how come you're not running 3 tracks?" You know, I mean, they are running 2 tracks.
Especially now.
Yeah, it's tough to run 2 tracks.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Tyler Chapman truck? I don't know.
Word that I got is that he just needs a break from the drama in the trucks, which is
unfortunate.
He had a lot of drama last year.
A little bit of a bummer because
Yeah,
that was high energy entertainment.
Yeah.
They were the ones to watch as far as Speedbowl.
But hearing the crowd whenever he was on the podium and the stuff that he had to hear, I don't blame him. It was brutal.
Right.
All right. Last question.
Oh, now wait a minute. Now you know what we like to do when we get to the last question, Bonssa.
Oh, yes. If you want to submit your questions, first of all, submit them before the show on Tuesday itself, and you can submit them on sidsviewpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, this guy is money.
Send away. We'll ask all the questions. Okay, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them.
All right.
So with that, here's our last question from Tyler Owen.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's asked a couple questions before.
Indeed.
He's in chat.
Hey guys, I've been looking at my racing schedule for events I'm attending that are tour type modifieds, and I noticed that I don't get to go to Waterford until August 23rd for the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series race. Should the Speedbowl seriously look into getting a June or July race date for either the MRS or NASCAR Tour? It sounds weird, but all the Connecticut Tour type events are really spaced out.
What are
Thank
we
you.
talking about?
Really spaced out.
They should look into getting the mod tour.
Well, they already have 2 MRS races.
I was about to say the opener and the closer are MRS.
Yes.
Yeah, I go back to the Pulio comment. Like, how come you're not having 3 races?
Yeah.
And I mean, the NASCAR thing. I mean, that's been a done deal since 2017.
Right.
And I don't think that they have any desire to go back. And I don't. Those races are expensive. I wouldn't think that the Speedbowl is jumping to, if they would jump to even have one. I think the Speedbowl's fine. They have 3 tour type modified events.
Yeah.
One's at the opener, one's in the summer, and one's at the closer.
I don't see anything wrong with that layout at all.
They're good.
Yeah, they're fine. Thompson's fine with their modified tour events and then open mod events, and then Stafford's got their races. I think Connecticut's doing just fine with what they can do with what they got.
And it's not even like Waterford is really like lacking in the open mod races as opposed to a place like Stafford. I mean, they don't have that many more, if they even have more.
Well, I mean they have the same as Seekonk. Seekonk has 2 tri-track races and 1 tour race. So it's the same.
I think Waterford's fine, and their Monaco modified event is very successful every year. So I think
agree.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
we agree, Corshane. He's laughing in the back.
That is the viewer mail. Thanks to Ed Marceau, Land Clearing, and Firewood for your support.
You are the man. Although it is Ed Marcel
I
Firewood
switched it.
and Land King.
Yeah.
But listen, either or you can get
You didn't
them
say
both.
Ed Marcel, so
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Good
true.
job.
You did
I
say it
actually know how to
correctly.
say the name correctly.
Oh shit.
that's shots fired right there.
All right, this segment is getting really freaking dismal, but we're gonna do it anyways.
Not for certain someone sitting next to me.
God,
How
here
you
we
know? Well.
Damn.
You know what? We deserve it. I mean, Jack was the only smart person that said, "Yeah, Matt Hirschman at Seekonk." Duh. I mean,
Yeah,
what were
the
we
fact that
doing?
none of y'all picked him for Seekonk
That's
is
a bad job. I mean, my guy
insane.
came in second, but still, bad job.
Damn, I suck. 4?
How about I went 0 for 2 on Nick Hovey? What the hell?
I don't know if that's you, Bonssa.
Well, for today, it's me.
That's true. Do you want to make his picks for him? You might do better.
Rob,
All right, so-
you're sucking too.
Well, I
Rob's
didn't say I
terrible.
wasn't.
Yeah, Rob's terrible. All right, so the order
I'm right
this
there with
week
Diego at least.
is Jack, Remy, me, Rob, and then Bonsa's going to read Diego. So, Jack, go
Yep.
ahead, buddy.
All right, so for Stafford in the limited late models, Gary Padnode.
Never heard of him. Just kidding.
At Waterford in the SK Lights, Robert Bloxham. For my touring series, ACT, DJ Shaw.
Ooh,
And then,
that's a good one.
wow, kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I'm just trying to
I'm not
throw
gonna
you
lie.
off there. Go ahead.
Well, yeah.
So my first wild card will be the Streeters at Waterford, Ike Chima.
Oh, that's a nice pick.
And
That'd be
then
sick.
another wild card, Stafford SK's Tyler Chapman.
Oh, all right. Interesting pick right there.
You can't question it. He's doing way better than y'all.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right.
All right. Well, now it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stafford, I'm going with SK, Tyler Chapman. Waterford, late model.
It's
You can't make this up.
Unbelievable.
Shut it. Late model, Jason Palmer. Touring, past, DJ Shaw, Stafford, SK Light, Nick Hovey. And then Waterford, Street Stocks, Aaron Clemens. Okay. Screw y'all.
You know, I was almost thinking this week about just copying Jack's pick straight up. Carbon copy.
I had it already, so I didn't
Remy
feel like
said to go
changing
for
it.
it.
I can't.
I did not
stand
feel
that
like
excuse.
changing it.
I had that
I
already.
don't care.
It's such a terrible
Literally,
excuse.
If I had to do it last, yeah, I would change it. But since I was right after Jack, no, I'm not changing it. I'm not thinking about it half-ass and screwing up my picks.
Again, I'm sitting
That
here
is a
fine.
fair
Y'all
point.
are
Honestly,
going at it,
Remy,
man.
that checks out to me
That's
completely.
not fair
you.
because she already screwed herself by having the same picks and not changing them.
It's unbelievable.
I don't care.
And I'm just sitting here, not just.
All right, Jack, shut up.
all right, guys, whatever.
This guy's saying I'm zipping my mouth while he's still chirping off.
I'll chirp all day, guy. Look at the scoreboard.
Here we go.
I'm not the one fighting y'all.
Bonsa, don't get him fired up. He gets all chippy. All right, here we go. Limited late models, Matt Clement. Legend Cars, Saturday at the Bowl, Brandon Martinez. Supermods, New England Supermods, tomorrow night, John McKennedy. He's got to get me a win in those bad boys at some point. Then I'm going to do X Cars tomorrow. Let me see, do I have this right? Yeah. I'm going to go Dylan Cabral. Then I'm going SK's wild card at Stafford. Pride of Italy.
Marcello. Y'all have checked to make sure your divisions and drivers are running, right? That's a thing y'all struggle with.
I give them that information. Whether or not they reference it is on them.
Okay. Is it my turn?
No, it's Frono who's over there.
Yep. Alrighty. I changed my picks, probably for the worse, but here we go.
Okay.
Stafford Speedway, SK Lights, I'm going with Joey Farino.
Oh, wow.
Bandwagon.
Waterford Speedbowl, Super X Car. I got to pick him again because he didn't run. Ben, Pollard, Castro, whatever the hell your name is.
Castro Pollard.
You're up to bat.
Okay.
Touring Series Act, I'm going DJ Shaw.
Do
Wild
you guys
card.
know anybody else on that tour? Sorry, go
I
ahead.
picked the names top of the points. I don't know. I can't even say the name of the track they're running at in full. So,
Good call.
you know, play it safe.
Yep. DJ, it's just letters, not words.
Wild card at the Bowl, I'm going Andrew Moeller and SK. Please run. And at Stafford in the SK mods, I'm going Steven Chapman.
Now, why did you say please run? Why wouldn't he run?
Well, I don't know. Did he ever really declare for the full season? I feel like they kind of just got into the swing of running, and they've been.
I'm pretty sure they're doing.
I mean, he's won 3 in a row.
Okay, well then go 4 in a row. Also, my sincere apologies to Austin Beers. I'll give you a week off to recover, buddy.
Yeah.
Only
I
a
think
week.
he needs more than a week with y'all.
He said I was banned for picking him.
All right.
So give him a little mercy period.
These next picks will be bad, but Diego will say him with that trademark smile. So go ahead, buddy.
Do you know what would be really messed up if I changed the picks for him and gave him the worst
They'd
picks
probably be
possible?
better.
He would be unbearable.
As if he isn't already.
Yep.
All right. You ready for this?
Austin has requested the rest of the year, right? Go ahead.
All right. Stafford Speedway.
Yeah.
SK Modifieds. You ready for this?
Go.
Take a guess.
Keith Rocco.
No.
Damn.
I'm going 4 in a row.
Oh, Mikey Jr.
Mike Christopher Jr., baby!
Oh, dear Lord.
I don't know if I can deal with this. I don't know if I can do this, man.
Diego ain't here in person, but he's here in spirit. All right. Waterford. SK Lights. Take a guess.
Let me see.
I
He
talk about him all the time.
probably works for you.
He works for me.
Yeah.
Every day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
He
your
talks
boy.
about his springs and points racing. He hates finishing second.
That's what she said.
You got him. You put a stop to it right quick, didn't you? Say? Oh my goodness.
Can I frisbee this at you?
Nope, go ahead.
My boy Nick Hovey.
How many? No, never mind. Go ahead.
What's the matter, Jack?
I feel like we did.
Let
we have
me enjoy being bad at picks, okay?
Yeah.
Go
Nick
ahead,
Hovey's
guy.
my boy.
Go ahead.
That's my boy right there.
All right, touring series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going act. My pick, Alexander Tardif.
I mean, this is just a spot-on imitation.
Wild card, I'm going SK Lights at Stafford. Josh Morrison.
Ooh,
I like the pick.
that's a good pick.
I don't care if you like it, Rob.
You know, in true Diego spirit.
Right, that is accurate.
My next wild card, I'm going Street Stocks at Stafford. I'm going.
My brother.
Are you ready? It's Brandon Warren.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Diego, I love you, bro. I love you. I swear I do.
All right. Well done. All right, listen. Remy is on a every other week status here in the Pop Culture Minute, so I got you this time. Riley Generators. Here we go. All right, so I think we've gotten into a discussion back in the day about the old Burt Reynolds chase movies, car chase movies, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
So there's one called Stroker Ace. Oh, yes. Was released on this day in 1983.
Wasn't that like the best racing movie ever?
The Chicken Pit.
Is that what it was? I got this is what I found online here. I'll give this to you right here. So there's the old, I don't know what you call that, but that girl's got a nice bum. That's that's Parker Stevenson. He used to be a Hardy Boy way back in the day. And there's Burt Reynolds and I believe his then wife Lonnie Anderson there on the left side. So let me give you some stats on this bad boy. So Stroker Ace was the 5th movie that he made with that was directed by Hal Needham.
Oh, yeah, they were clicking them off.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit in 1977, Hooper in 1978, Smokey and the Bandit 2 in 1980, and the Cannonball Run in 1981. They also made Cannonball Run 2 a year after Stroker Ace. One of the, and I was never really a big, I think I've seen the Smokey and the Bandit and maybe the Cannonball Run. But what I found fascinating about this with Burt Reynolds is that in order to be available for the film, Burt Reynolds turned down the role of Garrett Breedlove in Terms of Endearment, a role which eventually went to Jack Nicholson, who won the Oscar for that performance. Burt Reynolds, who was one of the biggest movie stars in the mid-'70s into the early '80s, actually was notorious for turning down a lot of big-time roles, and many of them to be loyal to Hal Needham to make these slapstick car chase movies. Some of the notable roles that he turned down during his career include Marlon Brando's role as Don Corleone in The Godfather, Harrison Ford's role as Han Solo in the Star Wars trilogy,
hell?
Bruce Willis's role as John McClane in Die Hard, and Richard Gere's role as Edward Lewis in the blockbuster Pretty Woman.
Wow.
So
That is
Those
an
are some
insane
big gigs.
roster.
So strange little career path. He was still one of the biggest stars in the world for some reason. But Stroker Race, find it on your streaming service. Have yourself a little nostalgia fun with that one.
Find it in the Best Buy DVD bargain bin. It
There
still
you go.
exists.
That's exactly right. Listen, Diego's not here, so hopefully you will enjoy this graphic as much as he does, Bonssa. But it's time for our friends over at Myers Creamery to help us see what's on tap for this week coming up.
That is some serious, what's it called? ASMR. ASMR. That is some serious ASMR.
A little too lo-fi
Agreed.
for me.
All right, so the bowl's getting wacky tomorrow. Oxford Plains loves those midweek shows with the Pass and New England Supermods. Stafford, now don't forget, they're running Thursday because of the holiday on Friday. Nothing really happening on Friday. Have yourself a nice burger and dog and maybe a beer or two and celebrate this great country's birthday. Saturday at the bowl, you're going to have a X-Car 40. Seekonk's got their regular divisions on both Friday and Saturday off. They're going with the Independence Day Thrill Show. The MRS is over at the Riverside up in Groveton, New Hampshire. And then another Riverside up there in Canada where ACT is going to be on Sunday. So another full slate of stuff happening. We're about time to wrap it up here. Our friends over at Seekonk LLC. Let's find out who won the week. Live chat. Get yourself ready.
Who are you?
Skate it. Lo decimos bien.
Oh, okay, right. All right, what do I got jotted down here? Mike Christopher, 3 straight SK Modified wins at Stafford. Andrew Moeller, 3 straight at the Bowl in the same division. Matt Hirschman once again winning what was once called Open Wheel Wednesday, now Midweek Madness, 6th time for him in his career. Derek Luchacki becoming the first Massachusetts native driver to win an ACT race at Seekonk. PJ Evans for his first career win at Stafford. Dean Lambros for his first career SK Light win and becoming the 700th winner in Stafford's history. What else you got?
Was PJ mentioned?
Oh, yeah, PJ was mentioned.
Yeah, sorry. I zoned out for a second there.
Rick Martin, 115th win over at Seekonk. Brent Robideau, back-to-back wins in the Pure Stocks.
Bonsignor, first win since 2023.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Yeah, Kyle. Yep.
Gio finishing 3rd in the truck race.
Another good one.
Lime Rock.
Another good one. Lime Rock in general, correct.
Brett Meserve for getting the car back out.
I'm going, what's this say? Sid's View fans for having Bonssa instead of Diego. Less farts, more smarts.
Wow. Man, he just wrote a good one right there.
Who
Good
wrote
job,
that?
Sean.
That's
Corshane.
really good. Good job, Corshane.
I'm going with, I'll admit this is a personal one, but PJ's my boy. I'm going with PJ.
So am I.
Yeah. Ray, you get a vote in this one.
I'm going PJ.
All right, nice.
He's a driving machine, that kid.
He is, man. He's super talented. Yep. He's going to win a lot of races. What do you got?
I'll also go with PJ. It was really fun
Oh, okay.
in Victory Lane and watching him get out of the car.
Yeah, he was super emotional. Jack, what do you got?
I think I'm gonna go with the group here. I think PJ Evans, just because the way he came out of the car and soaked it all in, and you could see how much it meant to him.
Yep.
So
Yeah, 100%.
cool seeing that stuff. So yeah.
Rob, what are you feeling over there, bro?
I'm thinking Dean Lambros.
Oh, that's how you mix it up. Be that freaking oddball.
Milestone and first win.
That's why you sit in the bullpen, dude. Wear those crazy shirts. You're so against the grain.
Listen, I mean, I don't even know how I'm going to top the Jaws shirt. By the way, happy 50th anniversary to Jaws last week. Should have been pop culture if we got Remy going hypersonic.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah,
Sorry, don't
it's
look at me
tough.
like that. I mean, come on.
Remy's never even heard of Jaws.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you better be.
Who directed it?
Okay, but that's different.
Come on.
I
mean,
knew.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't watch movies.
Oh, you guys are dorks.
Thank you, Bonssa.
I can't watch movies unless I'm in the theater.
Right?
I haven't been to a theater in 8 years.
You don't know who directed Jaws?
Not a clue.
Rob?
It's a Spielberg film.
There you go. Thank you,
I know who
Rob.
that person is. I just didn't know he did it.
I only know that because of my mother, though. Shout out to my mother. Huge
I am
Jaws
not
fan.
that old. You guys
Huge.
are just
You are
dorks.
old.
No way, man.
Compared to all of us
How
right
do you
now?
not know that
We're the
Steven
dorks.
Spielberg directed Jaws? That's a bad job by you. That's why you're not in charge of the Pop Culture Minute. You don't know things.
Easy there, Grandpa.
Listen, you can go now. We're done with you. We don't need you anymore.
Yet I'm the aggressive
for the
one.
clothes.
Okay,
Are you
we
kidding
do.
me?
We do.
Yet I'm the one that gets aggressive. All right, guy.
Jack, shut up.
You shut up, guy.
Oh my God, the bell needs to be rung about 50
Seriously.
times.
All right, we're going to end the show soon because I'm going to throat punch Jack right here in the studio.
I'll throw one right at you, guy.
All right, go ahead. Come on.
Are we all behaving? Are we all behaving? All right. Let me tally up everything I've missed. There's a couple. PJ Evans thanks us for the votes.
Hey, thanks.
All right, here we go. A lot of guys with 1 and 2 votes today. I'll read them in order of votes. First, we got Bowman Gray. Tagline just for Bonza along with that. So, Bonza, I hope you appreciate that.
I hope they're blocked.
Wow.
We got Zach Staley. Is that how you say his name? Staley?
Yes.
That's also with the Bowman Gray. He got a vote. Sid's View for having Bonza on got 2 votes. Sorry, Diego. Dean Lambros got 2 votes. I know I said I would read them in order of votes, didn't I?
Liar.
Lime Rock with 1. PJ Evans with 1. Brent Robideau with 1. Stafford with 1. Mason
Time
Summers.
out. Time
PJ
out.
Evans with
PJ Evans
one?
with 1?
Who else said it? There was too much fighting.
What are you talking
4
about?
of us.
Everybody in the studio voted for
Sorry,
him except for you.
Sorry, PJ.
You. What is this guy doing over there?
You guys all 4 said PJ?
Yeah,
5 of us.
What the hell were you doing?
You said it too?
Everybody but you.
Everybody
but
except
you.
you.
What do
That's
you
why.
think
That's why Sid said you were the outcast.
All right, hold on. Hold the phone.
can't.
Okay, we got to
Yeah.
recount the votes. They're
can't
finding votes.
breathe.
You seriously have one job here.
Well, I also have to say Seekonk it right. That's sometimes difficult as well. So,
Oh my
in that
God.
case, we are tied for a winner.
Is that the first time that's happened?
I believe it is this year.
You
right?
got more ones coming in here. You know this?
Oh my goodness. Stop the count.
This is unbelievable. We're just trying to get to the
PJ.
end of the show.
No, you guys need to all fight it out. I get it. Okay. Well, Dean Lambros now has 3. Mikey Jr. has 5. And in a last minute turn of events, PJ Evans has won the week with 6 votes.
We got to wrap the show up. I don't know what the hell is going on here. It's just got real stupid. All right, everybody, listen, follow us on social because a lot of what happened is going to be in reels that you're going to see early in the morning. You'll enjoy them. Diego, Bonza. You know what I meant. Go ahead.
Yeah, we want to thank Belton Motors for the weekly update. Thank Waddell Communications for the Nostalgia Nugget. Want to thank Northeast Performance Parts for the Popcorn Stat Chat. Shout out to Broadbrook Heating and Cooling for the Did You Know segment. Ed Marceau, Firewood and Land Clearing got that right for the viewer mail. Missed Site Development for the Stat Drop. Northeast Trucking Off. How does Diego do this? Northeast Trucking Off-Road for the weekly pick'ems. Riley Generators with the pop culture moment. Myers Creamery for what's on tap. Skake It for the Who Won the Week. JDO Motorsports and Stafford Speedway for the point standings. Monaco Ford, as always, for the results ticker. Also want to thank DRC Electric for the chalkboard chatter. Seekonk Grand Prix for firing up the hot seat. And speaking of the hot seat, Ray Christian III, thank you for stopping by on the podcast.
Appreciate you guys having me. Cool look behind the curtain and had a great time.
Thanks for coming, brother.
Also want to thank Racers Reunion and give a shout out to them as they prepare for their Sunday event at the Barnyard Speedway. Also want to thank Vault Productions, Sid, yourself for this kick-ass studio.
Word.
And all of the podcast members for supporting this podcast day in and day out for 2 years.
I want to say thank you to Stafford Speedway, Seekonk Speedway, Monaco Tri-Track Series, Speedbowl History, and Flow Racing for the videos. Also, big thank you to Fran Lawler, Shani Lorenzit, and Paul Conley for the photos tonight.
Well done, Remy. Listen, go out, support your local short track. Have a great 4th of July. We'll have a lot more to talk about with somebody else in studio next week. We'll keep you guessing. See you then.